Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ladies, welcome back.
Yes.
Wine night. We have a super special guest with us tonight to talk about money. Money handling, finances, all that good stuff. So, we would like her to introduce herself, please, to the listeners.
My name is Tasha Macklin, and I am a financial advisor, / clinical psychologist / a lot of things. So that's me.
Okay, yay. We're so glad that you could be on with us tonight. We have so much to talk about, so we gotta keep it pushing. But we're on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Look at our new digs.
It's so nice.
That was April's cue to do the social media plug, but we're just gonna...
But I don't know the YouTube one. But follow us on Instagram at Why Not Podcast 614. And from the Instagram, there you can find our YouTube link. Because it's like some weird, it's not like, you know what I mean? It has like a bunch of...
Yeah, I mean, like, the logic that YouTube uses to like pull up videos that if you search like Why Night Podcast, you're definitely gonna get some like other stuff. But you'll find us eventually.
Yeah, but if you go to our Instagram at Why Not Podcast 614, there's a link in our bio. You just click it and it'll take you to... And soon we'll have 2 videos up.
Okay, so what's everybody drinking tonight?
I just got this. I got my monthly Cooper's Hawk wines yesterday. I went and picked them up. So it's Vin Noir. I think it's their January wine. I don't know what it is. It's red.
California red wine.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Okay. Emily? You were drinking a Michelob Ultra.
Dang, put me on blast. I'm trying to hide it.
I see you swiped it out.
Right? It's the ambience.
Yeah. It's okay. You can have Michelob Ultra in
some days you get off work and I was like, I need a burr.
Yeah.
So I cracked a burr. But
sometimes a beer really hits the spot.
Yeah.
I was pretending it was warm outside and I was doing the patio thing.
Right.
How'd that work out?
It didn't. So wine it is.
It's still depressing.
Brittany, are you drinking tonight?
I just had a little sip of that barefoot.
A little
Red
sip?
Moscato, yes. Just a little sippy sip.
Oh gosh. All right.
Well, it seems that Miss Tasha and I have the same very mature taste. I said what I said. It's a mature taste in wine. In sweet wine.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So for this show, we're gonna talk about, well, there's like lots going on.
There's
in
a
current
lot
events.
going on.
Like,
oh my God.
Our current event list is like, I don't know. I see about 17 things on this
I
list.
was looking at that
So,
dang.
who knows if we gonna have to...
shit always happens between the time we record. Like,
I know.
Can we just have a chill 2 weeks ever?
Right.
No. That's not how life works.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And 2 weeks, I mean, 2 weeks is a long time. Right. So like, yeah, we have to catch up on stuff that happens and like weeks ago. But anyway, so we're going to be going through these current events like rapid fire, I feel like. And then we're going to talk about finances and like money and money management, like financial health and like, just like decisions around money, which is like not always the most comfortable topic, but is something like we all need money to live, right? So like learn how to manage it like appropriately
who doesn't want to be
and the best for your
financially
life.
stable?
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, there's some folks out there, but
They want some of it and they'll be like,
that's neither here nor
I need some
here.
shoes.
April.
Not pointing
talk
fingers.
about
Yeah, we need to talk about
that.
We need to talk about shopping addiction.
Talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
I mean, what better way to talk about an addiction and finances?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm here for you, girl.
You have an enabler, it sounds like.
Oh no! Oh no! This is not the group that fucking enables people. This is intervention.
Yeah.
right, the real reason we're all here.
This
is a safe space.
On that note, I have to go. So,
Something just came up.
yeah, my kids called.
All right, so let's jump into these current events. Okay. First on the list is Trey Songz.
Look,
I think it was like a sex tape.
I was gonna say just stop right there.
Right. Yeah. That's all you gotta say.
What about what about Trey Songz?
Right. What now?
And so I don't know. April sent in the group like a screenshot from a sex tape. I think it was.
It was like
it was like a POV shot of his like
somebody was giving him
I tried to zoom in. I was like,
you don't need to zoom in, bitch. What are you zooming in for?
Right. It's pretty.
And then there's that.
It takes up most of the shot.
Oh my god.
So.
She said I tried to zoom in.
So did anybody like go and like try to like really look for it?
Did you?
Look, I didn't. Look, I have not had Twitter on my phone. I haven't had Twitter on my phone in months. Okay. When I saw that was a thing, re-download.
So is there like a dark side of Twitter?
It's all bad. Like Twitter is.
There's like an adult entertainment side of Twitter.
Shit.
I went on Twitter today. I just typed in Trey Songz. That's all I typed in. The first video that popped up was this guy in a robe, and his dick was hard, and it was just like swinging like everywhere. Like it had the robe
it was
up
the
like
size of a wine bottle too,
and his dick was huge. And I was just like,
yeah, I rewatched that one.
But I was like, why did this pop up? And then so
that
like
shit was crazy,
and it was just like sex video, like memes, but like sex memes. Like of like actual sex happening, like thumbnails.
It's all the people who have been wanting to get their sex tapes out,
so right? They were like, it worked for Kim K.
But why doesn't Twitter like block that stuff like other social media platforms do?
I mean, I guess because like they've obviously created a space for it, like.
But the thing is, and this is way off topic, but like. Twitter, all you have to do is say, I'm over the age of 18. Yes. And then you're looking at dicks in your face.
Right.
Where like OnlyFans, like you have to like go through some hoops to get on there. I'm confused.
Well, you have to pay.
What kind of hoops did you go through?
Not to pose, but to view. Bitches, calm down. And if I had an OnlyFans, y'all would know. These feet is golden. Anyway.
Listen, you gonna stop talking about how your feet can make you money and continue to not post me about your feet.
She looked at my feet.
Right now they're in cat socks.
She wants to Listen, this is true too. See, I need them 7 streams of income. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. I'm here for you.
So, do y'all think that like he intentionally leaked a video, like his own sex video, because he dropped a single like yesterday, and he's got this like Valentine's like live performance thing happening tomorrow. And I'm just like, y'all
probably, and that was from his angle, and he making jokes on his Instagram like about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
very strategic.
We doing a lot for attention.
He really is. And how do y'all think, like, I mean, obviously he's a man, so I just think if a woman was like, let me just drop this tape of me, like, fucking somebody, like, there's no way that would, like, she would get attention, obviously, and like probably people would still listen to her music. Like she'd probably still get a jump in like listeners, but like
nipples got exposed and she was like dragged.
I was gonna say I feel like you would hear a lot more conversation about it. Like I haven't been paying attention to a lot, but I don't feel like a lot of people are be like, oh my god, Trey Songz.
At least what I've heard has not been negative. Like if anything, it's just been
like, oh my god, it's so big.
Damn.
Huh? I mean, it's so big.
Infamous double standard.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Every day.
Of course
every
it
day.
is.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's not give him any more time.
Moving on. Okay, so have y'all heard about the T.I. and Tiny thing?
I heard about it, but I didn't really look into it too much.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
For real?
Okay, so apparently there have been allegations made that T.I. and Tiny have like sexually assaulted a bunch of women.
Kind of like the R. Kelly thing almost. That's what people are comparing it to.
Yeah, like invites them over, like confiscates their cell phone so they can't, like prevents them from leaving, forces drugs on them, like there's, sex. And like, I mean, I just looked at this today because I was like on Twitter and everything's on Twitter. So I was just like, wait, what? Yeah, I mean, there's a conversation around why isn't this like why hasn't this been made like more public? Because
how many
perhaps the victims are of color, and so like, you know what I mean, like that whole rhetoric about like black survivors and like black victims are just like not seen as as victimized as like white victims.
How many like people are saying
no idea
me that
multiple more than one.
It's definitely more than one.
I don't know how many though.
Okay,
but isn't there
I don't
Super
know.
weird.
I don't know. All I'm saying is rumor, like you can say something like there's not like they're not on the same level at all, but there was a Kanye rumor like around him and Kim's divorce and that he was dating
Jeffree Star.
Yeah. And that was like
Lord.
some TikToker randomly said that. He was like, all right, I'm gonna sue you. She was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. So like, but it took off.
yeah.
So like I don't know. You just never know anymore.
Yeah, but
He
this
had
isn't like
posted
this isn't
something.
like a random person like saying this
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
to other people.
Yeah.
It's like the
This
people
happened to
who
me.
are alleging it's happened to them.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, I don't know. At the end of the day, like sexual assault is just like such a like touchy thing because you obviously there are certainly cases of people who don't tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
And that like fucks it up.
It's yeah.
For like
Well, because sexual assault happens way more often than anybody
Absolutely.
is found guilty for or anybody even accused of. Like it's way
and
more
it also
common
happens
than-
way more than people lie about it,
That's-
yeah.
right? So it's like, you know, you absolutely want to err on the side of believing people, but
For sure.
at the same time, it's like always like that tricky, you know, dragging people who claim those things through the mud. And it's like, you know, they have to relive the trauma like over and over again
Yeah.
just to be believed.
Which is why a lot
Anyway.
of people don't step up and say something is because they know.
Yeah, they have to go through that.
Yeah, they're like, it's not worth it.
So anyway, their show has been canceled. They were like
for
supposed
real?
to, they were like filming for a March release, I think, for their, you know, their little family show. So that's been nixed.
So I'm confused as to how all that's happening when these people have their whole life like taped. They've got producers and stuff coming in and out. But here we go. Cozy's feeling the type of way about the subject. I mean, I have questions about it, but what I'm not going to do is not ever like blame the victim or not believe a victim. So I would like to hear what happens. But you know, believe victims.
Yeah, are they being investigated and stuff? Like, is
I
anybody-
mean, it's a developing story. I have no idea whether, I mean, some accusers I know have legal representation at this point.
Okay.
So it sounds like there are legal claims being either investigated or they've already been brought. And so we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, anywho.
Damn.
Can't believe y'all haven't heard about that.
Damn, no.
Okay. Next topic on the list.
So many.
So I'm gonna just So, where am I? Oh, okay. The cop who murdered Andre Hill, he was arrested and charged for murder.
Here in
Yay.
Columbus.
Can we get a fucking round
Yes.
of applause
Cheers.
for that shit? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens because you know I think we all know that hurdle number one is fire the person. Hurdle number two is charge the person. Well, arrest and charge the person. Yeah. Hurdle number three is convict. Right? Golly. So we'll see.
And wasn't his
I
bail
mean,
set at like something crazy, like $3
he
million
made
or
bail,
something?
and then they lowered it.
What?
It was set at $3 million. Then they lowered it to $1 million. I have no idea on what basis they decided the court lowered it, but they did. And now he's out on bail.
And he made bail.
Well, after they lowered it to $1 million, because you only need 10%, right?
Yeah.
You need 10%, and then honestly, I've seen people, you know, put up GoFundMes and people
Yeah.
who just want to be.
You know the
nasty.
racist is going to be paying towards that.
The racists.
They raise the money, and there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
See who gives to GoFundMe accounts? Because I'd be taking screenshot after motherfucking screenshot of who was giving money towards these people.
I think the people asking for the funds can see maybe.
you can give anonymously
Yeah.
as well, I believe. So it's really up to the giver.
because I
whether or
want to
not.
know.
What you gonna do, Brittany?
I don't know. Just make sure I don't go to that person's business or
She just
keep receipts right. Like, you know how there's always like a business person like, yeah, we support Back to Blue. Like, no, motherfucker, you about to be ran the fuck down too. So, anyway.
You ain't getting my business. Okay. So, Gorilla Glue Girl.
I can't with this
gets
bitch.
the Gorilla
I
Glue
can't
out of
with
her
this
hair.
bitch. I told y'all. You never knew. Oh my God.
Are you serious?
Time out.
I'm
Okay.
so serious.
You don't know about Gorilla.
I told
Girl,
y'all she was
Glue
gonna
Girl.
get that check. I told y'all she's gonna get that check.
Brittany, can you please?
Yeah, tell us what.
Give
So
us the
our
story.
You got a picture?
let me see if I got a picture of sis. Gorilla Glue says this dumbass. Hold on, and she's like 30 something, bro. Like it's not even. Hold on, let me see if I can just put Gorilla
Okay, so
Glue.
long story short, while Brittany finds photo,
this chick.
she
Hashtag
was
Gorilla
like,
Glue.
she went viral after she made a video asking her viewers for help because she was doing her hair. She was doing a little slick ponytail, much like I have today, and she ran out of Got to Be hairspray, Got to Be hairspray, and
This is her
so
picture.
she reached for Gorilla Glue spray. Because there is something very similar in like the hair product industry. It's called like Gorilla Snot.
Gorilla Snot, correct.
Wait, pause. But you didn't pick it up in the hair aisle. You did it.
Exactly. So that's okay. But
got it at her
continue. But
drugstore. I
continue.
think it-
Yes.
I think she was at her house. So
Right,
she
but
was
that's not where
like,
she purchased
I mean,
it. I found
either
it.
way, it's stupid as shit. But she was at her house. She was like, oh shit, like, oh, I'm gonna use this. So she sprayed her hair with Gorilla Glue.
Okay.
Like the world's most powerful adhesive.
Absolutely. I have some at home, so I'm aware.
This woman had a slick back ponytail for over a
forever.
month.
Yeah.
She went to I don't know if it was TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, I don't know. She went to social media like, people need to help me. Like, somebody help. Who has
And she was like, but look at it.
The best edges ever.
She was like knocking on her head.
it was like a helmet.
What?
Like her nails was click clacking on it. She was
Oh
like,
my God.
I was like, oh my God, poor girl. I felt so bad for her. Like, you could just tell in the video
So
that
she
she
sued
had
him?
no idea.
She sued him.
No, that was her.
I want to say that she's like, she lawyered up.
Oh, but here's the thing. She'll get money. She absolutely will
Didn't
get money.
didn't it take surgery and the surgery was pro bono or something? It was
Yeah, so basically, and I told y'all she's gonna get that check. So basically, all that
absolutely
happened, and some doctor was like, "Yes, I'll do this for free." And so of course, you know, TMZ got involved. They recorded it all.
Yeah.
But it was really just, honestly, he just cut. I think he just used some scissors and a concoction of oils and acetone.
It just looked like he was spraying stuff. They were like
yeah.
surgery. I was like, he just looks like he's spraying stuff in her hair.
Yeah,
But
so-
it's surgery in the sense that they had to sedate her. I mean, she
Well,
she
I'm
was
sure her
awake, but
scalp
like
is
she was very
in pain.
Yes,
I mean,
true,
golly.
like I mean, and to be honest, like the concoction he made was like medical grade acid. Like it was like medical grade shit.
She should have just shaved her head.
That's what I was.
They cut her friend cut her ponytail. And then the rest of it was like, you know, the doctor trying to get all of that stuff out of there. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is that like, how long does it take? And then you're just, that irritants on you. And then just, how is it going to
On
grow?
your skin. Yeah.
Cause like, yeah, cause then like the edges is attached. She was a hot mess. I don't know. A whole month.
I'm just
Mark my
very-
words. She's gonna get paid.
She is going,
I hope
Listen.
Gorilla
Gorilla Glue made a statement like, we're so
conflicted.
sorry that this happened to her, but it specifically says to stay away from skin and all. There's like a disclaimer on the
But
bottle.
her attorney was like, okay, y'all said skin, y'all said this, but y'all didn't say nothing
here
about
we
her.
go.
Say hair specifically.
Listen, lawyers are gonna find a way
Yeah.
to finagle.
There's loopholes in language.
Yes,
I mean, it just
every day.
And then there's a
yes.
celebrity that wanted to donate a wig to the girl. I just don't. I can't.
I mean, she still has hair left. Like that's the thing is, she's trying to rock
Come
that
on,
little
but
itty
it
bitty
is
hair
not
she got.
cute.
But she-
But she still has hair.
And I wonder what it
No.
feels like. I wonder what it actually feels like. I
Yeah.
bet you it feels like
Crazy.
Just,
Yes.
yes.
Gotta feel
Oh
crazy.
my gosh.
Like
Because
straw.
you got all of that. I mean,
I'm sure there's
the
residue.
and then all the stuff the chemicals they put on her.
Yes.
That's gotta.
Yes.
And then her I can't
Stupid.
imagine her scalp is probably
How old
so
is she?
sore.
She's in her 30s.
Oh.
Old enough
Like
to know
she's
better.
old enough to fucking know better.
Oh. Okay.
She was coming up with a defense like, well,
Right.
There's nothing.
Benefit of the doubt.
There's nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
You can say.
And that was literally the one, that was what I had said too, was I was like, Gorilla Glue, Gorilla Snot, maybe. But I'm like, you a dumbass either way.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
I also will say there was one time where I almost grabbed super glue instead of lash glue and didn't
feel like that's
realize
probably
it
common.
until I smelt it. And then I was like, this ain't right.
I mean, but that's at least a little understandable because they are in the same, tubes and
The tubes look,
whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, see, you opened it, was like, oh,
This ain't
hell
it.
no.
This ain't it.
This is pungent. It's not right.
Gosh.
Well, she's free, and that's really all I care about. Like, I'm so
Her
happy.
burden has been
I am
lifted.
happy for her because that would be so scary. But okay, so Brittany, you got more on
picture?
Gorilla Glue Girl?
Oh, you showing you.
Oh, that was pretty much it.
I
Yeah,
just
she saw
want
the
to say,
picture.
I saw there was a guy that I heard about this on the radio. He was like, well, I don't believe that it's that, like,
Oh, this dumbass.
whatever. He glued
So
his mouth together.
Because he's a genius.
Yeah, he glued his mouth together.
why do
And now
people do
he,
this?
like, lost pieces of his lip.
Why do people do this? Why do people do this?
I wonder if like people have always been this stupid, or if the internet has made people so like attention needy that now we're just really stupid.
I'm going to say that people have always been this stupid. We now have
have.
ways to watch them.
Yes. Yes. They have outlets to put their
to share their stupidity, for sure.
stupidity on display.
Yeah.
Oh
And I mean, a lot of avenues to do it. Like,
Yes.
Gorilla Glue, Super Glue, duct tape,
Golly.
whatever.
This doesn't work.
Oh
Like, you're an idiot.
People are hot messes.
No way it's this strong.
Right.
Right.
God, I hate people so much. Okay, so the Super Bowl happened. Do we care?
I mean, we all got together and watched it. It was a good time. I enjoyed the buffalo chicken dip.
The buffalo chicken dip was delicious. If I do say so myself.
I heard India came in with a second bottle of hot sauce, like in case it's hot enough.
But it was very hot.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I had added enough of Frank's Red Hot.
She added plenty.
Sue me.
There were tears, literal tears.
Listen, I will tell y'all. So we had buffalo chicken dip left over, obviously. So I took some home, and I was like, I'm not wasting this. So I ate buffalo chicken dip for like 4 days after the Super Bowl. When I tell y'all, my asshole was like burning. It was on fire. I was like, I'm gonna lay off the spice for a while, because wow.
She said nothing but vegetables and water.
I mean, no, not even pepper. I can't even do pepper for like at least a week. I need a break. It was crazy.
Worst.
Oh, that is the worst. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's okay. It's my own fault. I made
it.
it. I
It was
made
good
it
while I
myself.
was going down.
I wonder if you could sue Red Frank's Red
Stop.
Probably not.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Okay.
even want that headache, honestly.
Right.
Okay, so because like Tom Brady won the Super Bowl or whatever, like with a totally different team, I've just been like seeing a whole bunch of, like Tom Brady's the GOAT and like yada yada, like putting him up against like the other like great athletes. I don't know. I just wanted the group's opinion on it because I'm not like a super like into sports kind of person. And so I was just like, one, Tom Brady gets on my fucking nerves. Like, I don't know
Facts.
why, but he does. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
you're
like
not
he's a
LeBron
proud boy.
James and like Michael Jordan, like they're like likable, but like
That was
Tom
totally just me.
Brady,
No, stop. You have to separate the person from the athlete. He's a great athlete. You have to give him that. Michael Jordan is not a great person. He really isn't.
But he's like watching him on the Last Dance or whatever. He seemed like okay. Tom Brady, I
The
just can't even
what?
stand to watch him. The Last Dance, his like documentary.
Oh, the documentary. I haven't seen
Well,
that yet.
cameras are on. I mean, everybody's
Right.
watching it.
True. Not even Tom Brady when he's on camera. And when I'm watching, I'm like, ugh.
So is it fair to compare like different sports against each other? Because like the Super Bowl is one thing, right? But then you've got like, I saw a bunch of comparisons to, Serena Williams and LeBron James. And it's like, those are all very different sports. Like, I don't know if you can like really pit two completely different athletes
I think
against
the
each
only
other.
thing you can compare is their discipline and their, what they put towards their sport. Like, athletes like that spend a lot of time, years, dedication, all of that. But you can't compare like what they've accomplished.
Hasn't he got caught like cheating and stuff too though?
No, but that's not part of it, bro.
No, not cheating on his wife. I'm talking about cheating by like taking air out the fucking football.
The football, yeah.
So, okay, but here's the thing. I'm not a Tom Brady fan. However, he has 7 rings. That's the most in Super Bowl history. You can't take that away from him. He left the cheating Patriots that everybody was saying, everybody was saying is Bill Belichick and da-da-da. He left that after he was supposed to retire. He was like, all right, well, just to show you guys real quick. So, let him have it. He and then the other thing to look at his stats, and I don't know his stats, but when I hear people talk about, GOAT talk, stats are included in that conversation. Rings and stats. And people who want to talk stats always end with, he ain't got 7 rings, which Tom Brady is the only one in Super Bowl history to have that. But when you talk about overall sports, I feel like when you compare greatest of all sports, you need to consider, is it a team sport or an individual sport?
Yeah.
True.
Because that, really...
That makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
You can't win if you play on a team, you cannot win completely by yourself.
Right.
You can outshine all your other teammates.
Yeah.
And they can win because of you, but not because you played the whole game by yourself.
Right. Brady's
That's a different
not
kind of
throwing.
pressure, too. Individual sports versus a team sport. It's a different type of pressure.
sure.
Yeah.
It's not like Brady's throwing the ball to him fuck himself.
That would be...
Right. Somebody's got to catch it.
Right.
And run it.
Other sides when he has to block him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's way too many other people involved
Either
in your
way.
success for you just to be the GOAT.
Yeah. I'm not extremely invested in the conversation either way, but I feel like there's so many Tom haters out there
He's a proud boy.
just let him enjoy this.
But
so he can retire.
that comes along.
I'm gonna
with
keep
the
saying it.
territory, too.
I'm gonna keep
He's
saying
a
it.
proud
boy, not to
Everybody,
mention.
somebody has something to say.
There's LeBron haters.
There's LeBron haters.
Yeah.
There's Jordan haters. There's,
For
Kobe.
sure.
Who the freak can hate Serena Williams?
Well, I don't know if she has any haters.
Why do people hate LeBron James?
Bro, people absolutely...
But
Well, I can
Why?
name a few reasons.
But why? Why?
Because he switched teams 17 times.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Because he has the super
he's a big
team.
crybaby.
He's a flopper.
He is definitely a flopper. But that's the why hate him because he's a flopper?
If you were that invested in the sport, you would absolutely be annoyed by that.
Ask people from
Yeah.
Cleveland what how they
sure.
feel.
They got him
Right. I mean, his jersey
the
was
second time
burned.
around,
Right.
The first time was bad, but now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, his jersey was burned and
Burned.
shit. That's, I don't know.
They
That's
took that
fucking
like a bad
scary.
divorce.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I did see a really funny meme after the Super Bowl that said Tom Brady looks like he's playing like he's about to go see Donald Trump at the White House for the second time.
Proud boy.
Damn.
Just saying.
Okay, so staying on sports. Brittany, you added this one. Mark Cuban changes his mind about not playing the national anthem. I'm not aware of this
I don't know what you're talking
story.
Okay, so I gotta because I looked at it days and days and days ago. So basically, Mark Cuban had changed he had changed the whole not playing the national anthem when the Mavericks were playing.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
They weren't playing the national anthem when the Mavericks, because he owns the Dallas Mavericks,
Okay.
basketball team.
Okay.
So at some point during the last year, he had decided not to play the national anthem. But then here recently in the last couple days, I think he switched it back because so many people were giving him shit about it.
Sounds like something.
Because he was specifically saying
Sounds like something he would do. He's a shit starter.
he was
like it.
basically saying that he was acknowledging everything that was happening in 2020.
Because people are why are we playing this at fucking sports games? What's the point?
Yeah, the national anthem is
I get
in itself
that.
racist.
It
And
is.
so he made the decision to not play it.
Yeah.
And then he got so much heat from it that he flipped back over and said, okay, we're going to play it.
I gotta
Okay.
say, if you make a decision like that, you know you're gonna get heat for it.
Right.
You gotta stand on that.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
have to know that, okay, people are gonna be mad. And the people that are in my stands are of this quality and this race and this belief system. And if I make this decision, I'm not going back. Or just don't do it at all.
And you made the
right.
decision in fucking Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
You said, hey, Texans,
true.
I'm not going to play your national anthem. And then you go play the fucking national anthem because you know who you're
they
delivering to.
pressured you.
Yeah,
Right.
you know who you're delivering to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's my issue with any sort of going against the grain thing. When I think it was the NBA players at some point in 2020 they did something collectively. I forget what it was because it was so
They didn't play.
short-lived.
They didn't play. They refused to play.
Yeah, but then it only happened couple times, two or
Maybe
three times. And then they started playing again. I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that?
Because
I don't understand.
At the end of the day, that's their job, and they leaned on them. They're like, you play because we pay you, or you get out. You have to. You just have to. I feel you. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to
You might as
qualify
well not have
everything
even done it.
and decide if you're going to do it and everything that comes with that. Versus
Exactly.
switching it up, because
You
then
have to
just
accept the
look silly.
risks.
Yeah.
If the risks are you lose your job, then that's the risk. If you're scared about losing your job, then don't do it. Exactly.
What kills me is that, like, there is safety in numbers and there's also power in numbers. And the thing about that situation is, like, if you look at it as a business, the NBA is unionized. You have a collective union. Most of the teams are. So if you have a union and you guys are all saying, I'm not going to do this, you're not going to suddenly be freaking replaced. Like,
Right.
you have more power than what you're... than what you think you do.
Right.
But because you're afraid of whatever the case may be, you're like, we'll start playing again. But we're gonna put Black Lives Matter on our jerseys and make sure you remember.
That's the like, your strongest, your weakest link. Your weakest link.
Yeah.
So if somebody's like, okay, well, wait, Brittany, wait.
It's probably those D-list players that only make 50 grand a year.
It might be.
Go be a salesman and stay morally sound.
Yeah.
Our salesman.
I don't know, but if you're
That's
gonna
even questionable.
if you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm with this, Black Lives Matter, and just like, oh wait, Black Lives only matter until I'm not getting paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Until they fire me.
Right. And I'm already, D-list, only making 50K, so whatever. Anyway, it's just, you know what you're getting into when you make these statements.
Yeah.
So they play in the national anthem again.
They
Moral of the story.
playing it.
Okay. Well. Okay, so shall we move on to Black History Month?
We sure can.
Happy Black History Month.
Welcome.
But I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, God damn it. It's fucked up that there's a Black History Month, in the sense that it's as if you have it's like it only, I don't even really know how to articulate my frustration with it, but it's like you only get highlighted for 28 days because it's not integrated into like all of history of all time. Like, it's just like fucking weird to me. Like,
Well, it used to be a week, so now we have 28 days. Thank you.
well, it needs to be every fucking day.
But it was February because of significant birthdays.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no,
So-
listen, I totally understand.
But you want them to change the history books, and they're not going to do that.
Well,
I think we need an
That's
uprising.
We do, for sure. For sure.
yeah,
need
that's what
another
I was
fucking
just. I just
uprising.
googled like when did the concept of like Black History Month start, and obvious it was back. This
The 20s or
says
something like that?
1926 or whatever, but like obviously you think about the concept, it's completely outdated. Like it's ridiculous, and I don't know. That's something that like I've always thought, like, why? Because if you go to college, it's an elective, or even in some high schools, it's an elective. It's not part of, which it's more of the honest history of America, really.
It's a
the honest side.
catch-22, I think, because it's like we definitely don't want to get rid of it, because if we get rid of it, then it's like,
Well, there's schools
that's
trying to
also
right now.
fucked up. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's always going to be a catch-22, right? Like, if you I don't know, it's just because we have the 1 month, it's like it's fine to just not talk about Black people for the rest of the fucking year.
The history
That's
books
how I feel.
just need rewritten in
Yeah.
general. They're
It's
all
like
fucked.
at work. There was like a presentation, like they want to throw some Black History Month shit into a work presentation, and I'm like, I mean, I get it. It's Black History Month. You're trying to honor the month, but like we can also talk about this shit any other fucking
In
time of
July.
year.
Absolutely.
And we should be talking about it for the rest of the year.
Right.
Throughout the year. It should be integrated fully into all of every conversation we have.
Yeah.
It's just
I think we need to get past the whole, like, we only have a month, but Women's Month and Latinx month, and everybody has like a month, and everybody has a day and a week and whatever.
Except for white people.
Except for white people.
Just white time.
Except for white people.
White time.
But we have
Because like, I have a conversation with white people like we don't get a month, and I'm like,
because you don't.
You're talking to the wrong people.
You get life.
You get a whole life.
You get life.
You get every
passed.
other day that's not February 1st to 28th.
Right.
You get a pass through life just being white. Like that's not it. And white, there is no white heritage or white culture. If you came to me and say, I'm German, I'm going to celebrate German culture. Cool. If I'm Italian, I'm going to celebrate Italian culture.
Right. Yes.
Cool. That's a real culture.
Exactly.
But my whole thing is just like, fuck the month. What are y'all laughing at?
I'm just like, I would never.
What do you mean?
They're like,
I wouldn't-
they're
I don't
tracing
even
their
know.
heritage. They're like, yeah.
Right?
Yes, I'm German. Yes, I'm Italian.
No,
Yes.
I'm just saying you're right.
My
Yeah,
grandma
you're
said I got some
absolutely
Native
right.
American in
It's
me.
just-
Okay, girl, celebrate Native American history. Shit.
Yeah.
You got a month, girl.
I'm just saying, I'm not one of those people that's like, I need to, like, I don't fucking care.
No.
Like,
My point is this is like, fuck your month for everybody. Ingrain this into the curriculum.
Right.
That's
Normal,
the issue.
Yeah.
That's
It's because we're
absolutely
not.
the issue.
Yes, because we're not being honest of how America came to be the richest country in the nation, and that was because of over 400 years of fucking slavery.
We were talking
Yeah,
about
a
state.
free-
You're talking about state level though, so all of your education is based on your state. So they decide what happens. You have to. If you look at the laws in just Ohio, because we live here, but if you look at the laws in Ohio, there's stuff now that I could tell you is actual law that's so archaic. You'd be like, that's not true. Yes, it is. They haven't changed the laws. They
Right.
haven't changed how society operates. The laws are still what they were like
Yeah.
100 years ago. We're like, wait, that's wrong. Why would we do that? So nobody's changing anything as far as the law's concerned.
Except for they're continuing to try to dismantle any progress that's ever been made. Like Brittany put on, I don't know what school this was, but what?
Utah. It's in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, fuck you.
They're doing what?
They try to cancel Black History Month for their curriculum.
Well, sure.
Right. I'm like, first of all, it's Utah. Fuck you, Utah.
Right.
Utahns. I don't know. Utahs. Utahs. I don't know. I don't know what the word is for that.
I said Utah. Brittany, you're messing me up. Utah is just like, I mean, there's just like a bunch of what are they called?
Mormons.
Polyamory? Not polyamory.
Mormons.
When they have a bunch of wives.
Yeah, those are Mormons.
No, there's
Mormons.
another. Yes.
Oh.
There's another word for it.
They're that because they're Mormon.
So polygamy is not the religion. Mormon is the religion. Polygamy is
right.
the act of
Act of,
having
yes.
multiple spouses. Okay.
Yes.
Got
Multiple wives. Let's be serious because do not talk about.
Yeah, let's not.
Right.
We need to have multiple husbands.
I want multiple
That is
husbands.
not okay.
Because if I could get multiple, listen.
I want multiple husbands.
I have had that conversation several times with men who are like, oh, I'm gonna have several wives. You know, we're gonna have this community. We're all working for each other. I'm like, then I'm gonna get me a couple of husbands.
Right.
I'll definitely live in your community. And they're like, what?
I'll definitely live in your community.
Because here's the thing. It is all based off of being able to share community and take care of each other. If I can take care of
that's what they're
several men,
saying.
then I should be able to have several men. Right?
Yeah, and if several men
that's what
can
they're
take care of me,
Yeah.
then they
Right.
should be able to do that.
Exactly.
That's what they're saying it's supposed to be, but we all
then they
know it's
get-
about control.
Yeah, because the whole countenance shifts. It's like, wait, what?
It's about
I'm
control.
like, if it's about what it's about, then it would be okay.
It's really about controlling women's bodies, but
It is.
again, neither here nor here.
I stumbled on this like little, it was a documentary or something. It was a therapy show, and they were like a polyamorous relationship or a polygamous marriage, and she might have been one of his like first wives or something. But they're in counseling. It's like therapy counseling, and she's like bringing up her concerns, and he's like, "I'm not having it. I'm not hearing it. I'm not talking about that." Like everything that had to do with him, he was just shutting down. She's like, "I don't know what to do." It was just like, damn,
Really gross.
Yeah, like
it's slavery.
but she was afraid to leave the community. Like
Yeah.
she did the kids that she built relationships with that weren't hers and everything. Like it was. I don't know.
It's honestly, I feel like it's a way to brainwash a person.
I was about to. Yep.
Yeah. It is.
Anyway.
But I think it's like possible that it could be done not in that
Functional.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think
You think that
I
people
think
could
polyamory
operate
could be
in
a
a
thing.
in a sexual relationship and not be pissed off every other day? You give us way too much credit.
I mean, I'd like to
Yeah.
think it's possible, yeah.
I mean, I would like to think, yeah.
I would like. I mean,
but-
like in my like idealistic, idealistic self,
Yeah.
would absolutely like to believe that like people could just be like, yeah, this is what You give to me. This is what I give to you. It's a respectful, reciprocal relationship.
Yeah.
And if you find that with somebody else, like, so long as there continues to be respect, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Isn't that kind of like a throuple? Or is it
could be
different
whatever you
because
wanna
you're
call
like
it. I mean,
all
open
together
relationship.
rather than like them two and us two? I guess.
I guess it depends how you want to operate. Like,
Yeah.
either it's y'all all together,
Yeah.
or, you know,
Y'all
separate,
branch
I don't
off.
know. Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, so so Valentine's
So much
Day
shit here.
is gonna be like
After this or before this.
this
A little bit
episode is gonna
before,
come out
yeah.
after this
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. But I do want to. am curious what y'all got planned.
Not shit.
Does
got myself
anybody have any
some-
plans?
Got
Don't
myself
make
some
me sad.
Valentine's Day shoes.
April and I are going to the Avalon.
Fuck, no, we're not.
The singles mixer.
I really honestly just want to be a fly on the wall and just see who shows up to
I
that
would definitely be
motherfucker.
flying the wall, but I would not participate. You could not pay me enough money. Well,
I don't know. I don't know. We might be pleasantly surprised, but no.
I
I'm
would,
definitely
if
not
I
going.
was single, I would totally be down to do something like that.
During COVID.
We out anyway.
No, but not like in people's faces,
Honestly,
like,
I'm gonna
But
leave
you're still
COVID
not-
out. I'm gonna leave COVID out of it because that's not why you wouldn't do it. It has nothing to do with it.
excuse, right?
No, it's not. I think.
April tries to lean into that excuse, but it don't work. Her ass out
Right.
anyway.
Leaving COVID out of it, I would totally be down to try something like that. Why the fuck not?
That's
Why not?
true. I think maybe because it's like Avalon.
Who cares?
But like it's like
You're not doing anything anyway. You're not doing anything else.
what
You might as well go.
What are you
meet
doing
some
Sunday,
people.
April? What are you doing tomorrow?
I have to wash my hair.
I hate her.
Okay, so legit, nobody has plans.
Go see my mom.
No. I mean,
Is
do
anybody
you?
buying gifts? Like,
Do you have plans?
I mean,
Miss Summer,
I got a little something set up.
Okay.
Don't act annoyed.
She
that the
would,
question
right.
came
Don't
back to you.
act annoyed. You just asked us.
No, I have like a little date. I mean, it's like going to be in the house. Like, it's not like I'm not going out
Sure.
anywhere. But yeah, like, I mean, there's some intent. There will be intention. There are intentional plans made for tomorrow because
Look at you
tomorrow
being
is
cute.
tomorrow.
Look at you being
But it's not
cute.
like anything crazy. It's
Right.
not anything fancy. I just been seeing on social media like all this crazy.
Everybody celebrated
like,
last night. I was like, the fuck is going on? Like,
well, not even that, but I've just been
Yeah.
seeing a lot about like Valentine's Day gifts.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm legitimately confused why people
are
think.
bored. They're bored.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, it
So how
has
much-
to be just that
What is
because
an acceptable gift? Like,
there's no gift that needs to be given on Valentine's Day, in my
talking
opinion.
about spending so
No.
much,
There's
and
no
I
reason.
don't understand.
Y'all need to spend some
it.
quality ass time together. Do some arts and crafts. I don't fucking know, but
I don't
nobody
spend
needs
a lot
to
of money on gifts anytime.
Right.
No, I don't. Well,
know.
okay, let's
I buy
define.
gifts just because.
Let's define how much is a lot, though.
I mean, more than $50
Oh, shit,
is a
never
lot
mind.
for Valentine's Day.
I'm gonna run my statement back. Never mind.
I mean, Valentine's Day is just. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget that it happens a lot of times. Like, even when I'm in a relationship, I'm like,
Oh dang.
Right.
I only remember because of social media.
Yeah,
It's all over
that's
social
true.
media.
It's like it's like an obsession.
Yeah.
But
So you think it's
oh my god.
Do you, do you think it's an obsession to be like outlandish because of the gram, or it's just like
I feel like people do it more so they can post it and show what they got, what they did, blah, blah, blah. Not even because of the other person. Like, that's just what I see when I was on social media last. I was like, first of all, why y'all pressed to do it on a Friday? Because y'all just so pressed to get it onto social media. Like, it's not even Valentine's Day yet.
Just give it a
good
second.
lord?
He's about to kill somebody.
It's either the mailman or
This late on a Saturday?
it's not even that late.
You get more Amazon packages.
Right. FedEx.
I do have. All right.
Should we put him upstairs? Like upstairs? Like the second floor?
He's just gonna make noise to get out.
But could we not hear it if he's on the second floor
No,
down here?
we would hear it.
Oh.
Cozy! Cozy!
I said, yes, Mom? Yes, can I help you? Yes?
It's like, Mom, but they're out here. You see them?
Right.
Lord. Right. My God, he's so fucking annoying. Okay. We're good. Lord have mercy.
I just feel like people are so pressed to show off, and
They are. That's what social media has created.
All the
I
holidays.
was
That's
just
the
gonna say
pajama
that. I mean, that's
pictures.
social media.
they
for
probably were just in
Christmas.
an argument yesterday, and now because he put flower petals on the floor, it's all good.
I do feel like I don't know. I think that all the hype around Valentine's Day is, if I'm in a relationship, I want you to show me that appreciation. Like I don't want anything extravagant on one day, but I do want consistent appreciation throughout the year. However that's shown. That doesn't have to be gifts.
Right.
But I do want to, however special you're trying to make one person feel on one day out of the whole year, like take all of that extraness that you're putting in energy you're putting into one day, spread it out over the year and make it easier. Like, I just want to be appreciated every day.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I'm in something like with somebody I care about, like I will definitely acknowledge the day. Like I'm definitely going to get you a card.
Right.
Like and say something like Happy Valentine's Day, but like I am not coming out of my pocket, nor would I expect you to either.
Right.
I think you have
Like-
to, if you're really trying to give somebody something that they're going to appreciate, you need to know their love language.
yeah, that's a good.
Because she just said, I don't buy gifts for nothing. She's not a gift giver.
but I'm a
Like,
gift
what is-
taker.
Yeah. So you have to know what a person likes, how they receive that love and affection. Because if you buy $100 worth of gifts and the person's like, hey, I'd just like to watch a movie with you.
Right.
Then it's not nothing. So you have to know that. So and I'm with you, like I don't care about February 14th or
Right.
whatever. Like if you're inconsistent the rest of the days, get the hell on.
Yeah. Yeah. Brittany, what you got? What's the problem?
Nothing. I was gonna say something, but
Are you triggered?
I'm running it back into my own head, but never mind.
Oh my God.
I was being extra. Never mind.
You gotta relax.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a couple other things on here, Brittany. I don't know.
Curfew's over.
Wait, you mean it's over? Over?
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
Wait, we on these streets on 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I honestly can't even comprehend that. So the bars are going to be open until 2 a.m.
Our bar's
again?
only open until midnight.
Yeah, our bar
but-
said no.
Our bar said we'll be
playing
open
that
until
game.
midnight.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm ready.
Me neither.
I don't know if
At
I'm
all.
ready.
It's hilarious that India's getting her news from this.
Right?
Well, I knew that the Ohio curfew was extended till 11, like 2 weeks ago. Or a week ago, not even. It hasn't even been that long. So that's what I thought this was about. Not that they got rid of it completely.
All gone.
Wow.
But there's
Okay.
new strains of COVID, but whatever.
They've been new strains.
There's like 5 different new
mean,
strains. So yeah, we could run through that. So new strains, Trump is not getting impeached
Nope.
as of like 2 or 3 hours ago.
Are we shocked?
Nope.
No. We're not. So we could just move on from that.
Yeah.
Let's see. This kind of ties into the money. The IRS is getting a little bit more helpful for companies to pay back student loans. Don't ask me what the rules and regulations are, but I saw that and I'm going
Wait, helpful in what way though? Like, I mean,
So basically, like, they are they're loosening up the rules for companies to get write-offs for giving their employees back money to pay off their loans. So instead of tuition reimbursement, which you have to be a current employee already there to pay for potential classes, you're now like a student or an employee and you can have money given to you to pay back loans you've already taken out.
got it.
Which
Interesting.
a lot of companies like Google and stuff like that, the big, huge companies.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that that's one of the things that they leverage for, like for their talent acquisition strategies and things like that is
Right.
like you get into these.
We'll help you pay off your
Yeah, absolutely. Which I think you should because like if the job description says degree required, I just think that you should be helping out a little bit. I think it's a great idea. So now companies are going to get tax money back or a write-off. I don't remember how it's actually paid out, but to do that for their employees.
Interesting.
So anybody out there with student debt,
Go work for the big companies.
Go. Or at least look and see, like, hey, that's something I'm submitting to my organization. Like, this, we're really heavy in STEM. So there's, like, quite a few engineers and stuff like that there. Like, with master's degrees, I'm sure this would be something that people would love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who wouldn't love, like, helping them?
Yeah,
right.
Sure. I'm still waiting on Joe to,
fuck student loans.
Get rid of some of
10K or 50K or whatever.
Whatever,
We'll see about that.
I'll take whatever at this point.
I'll take whatever amount you trying to throw my way. Okay.
The last thing there?
Huh?
The last thing?
Yes.
National Drink
February
Wine Day.
18th is National Drink Wine Day.
I remember when I saw this last year, and it was like a big deal to us now because we had like this podcast, and I was like, National Drink Wine Day.
So I have like no recollection of that. I feel like I
about it and
just
everything.
learned about National Drink Wine Day.
Somebody told me about it, like sent me like a whatever, and I made a whole post about it on our Instagram last year.
Okay. I don't know where I was, but it's perfect because this episode will drop on the 17th, and then National Drink Wine Day is the 18th, so you can just cuddle up with a nice bottle of wine and your honey, or just yourself, and listen to us.
Or watch us.
Shit.
Watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, listen, watch, all that good stuff. So that wraps up the current events.
So much.
Does anybody want a break, need a break before we get into
Yeah, we should take a break.
the shmoney's? All right, cool. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so let's see. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about money. First, I wanted our guest to go over a little bit like, okay, what's your, profession? How you got into it. You do that full time, right?
Yeah.
You're a financial advisor. Yeah, go for it.
So the easiest way to kind of explain it to people is I'm a wealth coach. So that really is kind of, it entails a lot. So there's a lot of, learning finance, and then, finance is really personal. So you have to, decide what you want. And there's a lot of, follow the leader kind of stuff going on in society in general. Yeah. And I think that also happens in finance. It's like, okay, well, I'm supposed to buy a house. I'm supposed to, go to college. I'm supposed to, and there's all of these milestones at a certain age and all of that. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily, that may not be your journey.
Right.
You may not ever buy a house. You may not ever want to go to college, or whatever the case. You have to decide what you want for yourself. So that's where the coaching piece comes in, is what does your wealth journey look like, and how do we get you there in the most effective way?
Yeah.
So that's what I help people with.
And you said, like, earlier you had mentioned, like, mixing the psychology into it.
Yeah. So my degrees, as far as, traditional education, is in clinical psychology. So I love psychology. I love people. I like to, airports are my favorite place. they're hands down my favorite place. But I really I like the behavior of people and understanding like why people do what they do. So with psychology, I usually, when people find out I have a psychology background and I'm sitting in front of them to help them with their finances, they're like, well, how's that work? And I'm like, well, finances are just behavior. It's just behavioral. It's habit. True. It's habitual, So, I married the two together and really talked to people about, here's your financial plan. Here's the things that you're going for. Here's the best way to get you there. But then let's talk about, why you aren't there. Let's talk about what has hung you up to this point, because somebody mentioned it earlier. I think it might have been you, India, about money being scary sometimes. But why is it scary?
Right.
Like, why, as society at large, why do we feel like it's scary? Well, because we weren't taught it, right? So I can't swim. I can't swim. I will get in water that I can stand up in. I'm fairly tall. So if I can get in, 5, almost 6 foot of water, I'm fine. But like, funny story, I was like 16. I jumped in a hotel pool right at the like drop off.
Oh gosh.
No. It's like 5 foot right there. I could have sued. Just saying. 5 foot mark there. I jump in. I'm like 5'8", almost 5'9". So I jump in, and it's like literally like, and I slid down the side of the pool, and I'm like, oh my God. My mom, who's like 5'8", she'll tell you she's 5'5". She's like 5'3". She sees me, my uncle, like my family's there, and they're looking at the side of the pool, and they're like, "It's just 5 foot. She's messing with us, right?" And I'm like, "Help me!" I'm like screaming. So finally, they like see that I'm not joking. Yeah. They jump in. I practically drown half of my family because I'm like, panicking. I'm panicking, right? So. To me, it's the same way. Like, if I don't know how to swim, the certain amount of water is going to be scary. Sure. It's the same way with money. You don't know what you're doing. No one ever taught you. So you're supposed to be scared because you have no idea what you're doing. So when people say that to me, they're like, well, I don't, it's just kind of scary. It's not, money's not hard. Yeah. It really is not hard. It's just unknown. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like taking back some of that fear and being like, hey, let's just shine the light on it. Let's get a plan together, something that you can start to develop a habit of. And then it's just like anything else. It's like working out. It's like eating right. It's like anything else.
It's so mind-blowing, though, that it is like unknown, that it's not. Right. Because that's the one thing, like everybody.
That we all need.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going back to redoing your curriculum, like that's definitely a part of it too.
It's a form of control. Yeah. If you can control money, what is it? It's like the 5% of people, 10% of people, that do well with their finances. Then you have, you're absolutely right. The 1% of the population that has like this great amount of wealth and that controls so much of society because that's what controls society. Well, if you have people who can independently control their own finances and not just control their day-to-day purchases, but build wealth, that they can pass down, because what you see is generational wealth, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of your millionaires and stuff like that, their first generation, they built that, but like your like stupid wealthy people, they didn't build that.
That's generational.
That's like generational. Mm-hmm. So the 1% we're talking about, this like, the names that, are out there, whatever, they have generational wealth and they didn't get it in good ways either.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So there's a couple things that we just talked about. Like, one, it's a form of control, right? If you keep pushing these kids out from 12th grade, you're pushing out millions of worker bees. And that's all you're going to do is be a worker bee. Absolutely. Because you don't know how to be anything else besides what they've taught you.
Well, think about school. Think about just the design of school, right? You have rules. You have teachers who are bosses. You have a lunch break. You have a recess.
Right.
You have this schedule. It's 8 hours.
Right.
You can learn what you need to learn in the curriculum in about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. So that's half of a school day that kids technically are learning. It's only 8 hours a day because your parents have to work.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Can we do a pause for this?
Nobody drink the $3.99 wine.
Oh my god!
I was trying not to laugh.
Dying. You guys are dying.
I know. I was looking at you. I'm like, look somewhere else.
I couldn't help it.
I saw them both out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, something's.
I was trying so hard. I was like, wow, April, you're being really fucking rude right now, but I couldn't help it. Isn't it foul?
It's pretty foul. Like,
hold on. What kind? Let's take a moment and say never buy what again?
Okay, so I was Instacarting and I saw this wine. It's $3.99, and I was like, a canja. It's like a red wine from Argentina. I was like, okay, it doesn't look like half bad. I was like, either I've like landed on a gold wine, $3.99 wine, or this will be the shittiest wine of all time.
There's no in between.
The latter is unfortunately the latter.
There's no in between.
And it is pretty disgusting.
Can you even explain it? Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like it's just foul.
It's got a 13.5% alcohol content.
Look, I just chugged the shit out of it, so I'm like,
so if you can stomach it, you're gonna be fucked up.
I mean, it's very dry. It's very dry. Okay. And like it's
you
are definitely not gonna like it. If you like Moscato, oh Lord,
don't much.
It doesn't smell bad.
No, it's just like not pleasant.
I mean, I can stomach it. It's 13.5%. Right?
It's gonna get the job done.
Look, I didn't waste none. I chugged what was in my glass.
I mean, you can get it done. It's not. It's
no wine bottle left behind.
It's not terrible. So.
That's so gross.
The more you drink of it,
it's a little sour.
Yeah, it's like almost tastes like it's been open a while.
It has an aftertaste, like a real sour aftertaste.
She cleansed that palate, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Anyway,
I'm
there's-
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so sorry.
Back to business.
Yeah. So the other couple things that you had mentioned is that the doing things, keeping up with the Joneses, basically.
Yeah.
And like there's this whole like movement of like hashtag generational wealth.
Yeah.
But nobody like, and you have to have your 7 streams of income, and it's just like you're trying to photocopy everybody else's journey, and it's not always going to be your journey. So I liked how you basically were like, you're basically meeting people where they're at and figuring out the next step.
Yeah.
Because you can't just come up with this grandiose plan and not understand.
Yeah, I mean,
that
you have
person
to,
is.
you really have to decide what you want your life to look like. So, there are people like, yeah, like you said, hashtag generational wealth. Okay, well, do you want to have kids?
First of all,
Right.
Because
them kids.
that's generational in its most,
You have to create
simplest
the
form,
generation.
right? So you have to decide if that's, because there's people who don't want to have kids. There are people who don't want to have a family that way. So generational could look different. You could be leaving wealth to an organization or a group of people or something like that. So it can look that way. And you can create that a totally different way than you would something else. And you also have to look at your life, because there's a lot of people, there's this whole like hashtag like grind, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it with passion. So that's what's popular, is like grinding and making all this money and everything. And I'm like, but if you don't enjoy your journey, then there's really no point in your journey. So is your journey, do you want to travel? Do you want to see the world? Like, and you have to make space for that in your finances.
Right.
And so April likes shoes. I'm a shoe girl, so I get it. Like, but just make space for that in your finances. It's not, no, don't buy that. It's not, oh, that's not, a good purchase. That's April's purchase. Let's make room for it.
Yeah.
I love
Man.
it. Anybody
I like-
tell me not to buy me no tickets. Get out of here. Period.
But I feel like, so a lot of people might be like, okay, so I have permission to make room, but what does that look like? How do I,
Right.
what's room? What's appropriate? How do I know what's enough room or whatever?
Yeah, so you have to
That's
start.
called
You have to, you have to start with the budget. But budgeting, I have to say, is not a list of bills. So when I ask, like, do you have a budget? They're like, yeah, and then they tell me like what the rent is and that's not a budget. A budget is not that. Okay,
I've been fucking up this whole time.
That is a list of bills. So what you're doing is you're letting your bills tell you where your money goes. A budget tells your money where to go. So it's a reverse, right?
Okay.
So you get your paycheck, and your paycheck is like, okay, well, this is already spoken for. That's not a budget. What you have to do is you have to write down, okay, yes, I want to live this place. This is my rent, all of those things. But then it's, what are the other things that you want, right? Do you want every 6 months to go on a trip? Do you want to have, money to buy Starbucks every day or whatever? Whatever your thing is, right? I don't
I'm looking at April once again.
I don't judge anybody by what they want in their life. I just say, okay, you have to know what those things are. They have to be like, I'm willing to sacrifice for these things, and we're going to figure out what you need to do to get them. And then that's where the decisions have to be made. Because then you're going to have to ask yourself, do I really want them? Because I might have to make these decisions and these sacrifices. That's where income comes into question. Do you need a different job? Do you need to go back to school to get more education, get a better job?
Do you need more money for the things that you want?
Exactly. And that's a lot of times where people get discouraged, and it's like, then you have to go back and look at that budget and say, do I really want these things? Is that that important to me?
Right.
And then you have to make some decisions. So that's the hard part. But once you get to that point, then you can start to grow and start to make that happen.
So do you see do you see disparities in who comes seeking advice about their finances? And I guess I'm speaking like specifically to race, because it shouldn't be a shock to anybody, but there are significant racial disparities in wealth and financial health of people in this country, right? Like, Black families are like 8 times less wealthy than white families, according to the Federal Reserve in 2019. So, for all we know, COVID could have fuck that up even more, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, who you see coming to you, like, hey, I'm ready to, you know, really like wrap my hands around this and like take control.
So you definitely have disparities for sure, in income and generational wealth. The biggest thing is that you have white families who teach this to their kids. They pass down not just the money, but they pass down the habits, right? So in a lot of Black homes, a lot of different, you know, people of color, money doesn't get talked about. There's a lot of things that don't get talked about.
Right.
So just say that, right? So there's a lot of things that we don't openly talk about, which brings shame to them, which brings, you know, that unknown we were talking about before that shouldn't be there. And white families talk about it.
Yeah.
They talk about it. Not only do they talk about it, but they teach it and they say, hey, this is what we do. So think about teaching, you know, a 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, 9, 10-year-old about money and giving them an allowance and teaching them, you know, how to have a bank account and teaching them about stocks when they're in high school and things like that. It just now becomes a thing. This is what we do versus, you know, you're in your 30s and now you're saying, I have to have an argument with you about getting life insurance because how will you pay for, you know, your funeral? How will you leave any type of wealth if you pass away in your 40s or 50s or whatever to your family? I have to argue with you about life insurance where some families are like, hey, we had this life insurance policy for you. Now it's yours to pay for because we've had it all these years. It's not a discussion of you need to get it. It's we already have this for you. Now you're going to pay for it.
Right.
So there's a lot of different conversations. So there's definitely disparities. I see, you know, for me, I get a lot of women because I'm a woman. But for women, you know, we're starting to change the dynamic of society. We're, you know, we're heading up households now. We live longer than men. So if we are married, our husbands are passing away and they're leaving their wealth to us. And then we don't want to work with the same guy that our husband had. Like that guy's a guy. He doesn't understand, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of that going on. So I do see different dynamics of people coming, but it's still the same. I mean, the wealth gap is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. It's insane. I was like, just in preparing for this conversation, I was like looking at some stats, and the Federal Reserve has, you know, stats from 2019. So like, keep in mind, COVID could have like wreaked havoc on these stats, but it was like staggering. I was like, first of all, yeah, it was like white families have 8 times more wealth than Black families. Black families' median wealth was around $24,000.
That is insane.
Whereas white families' median wealth was around $188,000.
Yeah. And think about that. When we talk about averages, you know that there's a lot of people who are on the higher end and there's a whole lot of people on the lower end. So $24,000 isn't a lot of money. So think about all the people on the extreme low end.
Right.
To make that average.
Exactly, who are creating that mean. I'm like,
but on the flip side too, think about how many white families is creating the pool so high.
Right.
That's
insane. So then I was just like, okay, you know, like what gives for the disparity? And like, you know, I think like 3 really important and you know, like feel free to speak on this, but you know, inheritance and gifts. Like white families are much more likely to receive, or white people are much more likely to receive inheritance and gifts, which like puts them in a position to, like you say, like it's being talked about, like it's like, here's your life insurance policy, like now you have to manage this. It said 30% of white people report receiving inheritance or a gift compared to 10% of Black people. Home ownership was another one. Like 46% of whites own their homes while only 17% of Black people do, or Black families, I think it was. And then and not only about like home ownership, but like the value of those homes. Right? Like the average value of homes that white people own is like way higher than the average value of homes that Black people own.
We could definitely talk about redlining because Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have to even acknowledge those statistics. You have to talk about the systematic racism of how that occurred. You know, why do Black families only own certain types of homes?
Right.
Like Brittany was saying with redlining, like that's a huge deal. And quite honestly, it still happens. I mean, we just had, you know, a news story, I don't know if it was last year or 2019, where Fifth Third Bank got into big trouble for, discriminating against Black people and not giving them loans because they were Black.
Right.
And it's like, okay, if we're still fighting these ghosts in the, underneath the bed, and people are like, oh, Black people need to stop complaining about what happened to them all these years ago. We weren't even there. Okay, it's happening today.
All these years ago.
Like, it's happening right now.
You mean yesterday?
Yeah, like
today when I went to the bank for a loan? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't so long ago that I don't know. For some reason I think it's a different term than redlining, but just like the discrimination in real estate. And it actually might be called redlining. I'm not really sure, but I think there's another term for it. But like that was only like outlawed like recently.
Yeah, and just because it's outlawed doesn't mean they don't do it.
Exactly.
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 Yeah.
There's an amazing article, if you guys get a chance to read it, that I think Columbus Dispatch did about the redlining and the ramifications just in Columbus. Yeah. And it's how crazy how they broke apart the Black, really the wealthier parts of Columbus that are like right beside the Bexley area. Mm-hmm. That's a historically Black neighborhood, and they had a wealthy families that lived there, and they basically ran highways and stuff to
split it up.
Yeah, to split it up. So it's even just bringing it home to Columbus, like it's still, we still feel the effects today.
Yeah. So there was one more factor that I thought was really interesting in terms of like, contributing to the wealth gap. And that was access to work sponsored retirement options. And it was saying, the Federal Reserve was saying that white families have higher access to almost 70% of white families compared to like a little less than 60% of Black families have access to work sponsored like retirement resources. And then it was like there was even a gap in who was taking advantage of those. So even if you had access to this resource, like more white people were taking advantage of that resource than Black people.
Yeah.
So I think you have two dynamics going on with retirement plans. One, which is pretty obvious, is people don't have any idea what that is. You'll sit down.
Like
it is confusing as hell.
Yeah, you sit down, and do your orientation or whatever. They set a packet in front of you and they say, hey, here's your benefits.
Figure it out.
Right.
And they say, what package do you want? And you're like, what?
Right.
Because, and I have a lot of clients, when I first start out with them, I ask them questions about retirement and they really have no idea. And I'm like, well, get your paperwork. Let's look at it. Let's figure out what you've done. And they don't know. They don't know what they chose. They don't know why they chose it. They don't know how it works. So there's a lot of that. So it's if the plan is in place for them because they're a full-time employee, then they just pick something. And then the other side of that is you have a lot of people working part-time jobs. So when you're part-time, you don't get those benefits. They're not something that you have. So you have to talk about that too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, being in HR, like people are like, I don't know what's happening. So like even their medical stuff, like they don't know.
I had no idea.
And you have to like break it down. So like, being in HR, like I was the person that had to break that stuff down to them.
Yeah.
But also gig economy. We're super, super into gig economy. So none of those contractors ever get benefits.
Yeah.
So we've got millions of people out here working.
Yeah,
that won't get benefits.
And that's getting more and more because companies are not wanting to pay benefits. So they're having more people come in and, I can't even go to like a Walmart anymore and not see like 50 like people scanning stuff from another company. They're from an outside company working part-time. They don't work for Walmart. It's like, how do I find a person in Walmart that works here that can help me find this thing? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really work here. And I'm like, what? So so they're working there as a part-time person or as a contractor, and that's no benefits. You get nothing. So you could even be working full-time hours and be a contractor and not get benefits.
And then the people that are, even if you're working somewhere that may magically have these benefits, it's like I don't even make enough to sacrifice the little bit of 10% or 5% or even 1% of my paycheck to go to my retirement because I need all of that money.
Right.
So it's okay. I'm sorry.
There's a lot. It's
just I can't. Yeah, like it's rough.
Yeah, but keeping in mind like throughout this conversation that there are like significant barriers for groups of people and like significant disparities, but let's talk about credit, shall we?
Sure. Kenny is a big fan.
I do love to use my credit card. Although I just recently stopped because I was
job.
like, fuck these credit cards. Like, these things have been getting me into trouble. And really not even trouble. It's just like, I think it's fucking stupid. Once I calculated, so at one point last year, I was like, let me calculate how much I've paid towards the credit cards, right? And fortunately, a lot of my credit cards are like 0% like interest if I pay it off in like a certain amount of time. So like I avoid interest for the most part. But like I calculated it and I was like and it was only like maybe a 4 or 5 month period of calculation. Like it wasn't even like a year or 2 years.
You didn't even want to continue.
Or 3.
You were like, I've had enough.
It was sick. It was sick. So I was like, I'm not using these things anymore. Like, if I don't have the cash to buy it, I'm not buying it.
I think that's one of the things that has worked against us is we don't see our money being spent. You know?
Facts.
So when you
Just
have
swipe,
like
swipe.
$100 in your wallet, you see the $100 go into the hand of the person, they give you your change, you're like, oh, okay. We don't have that with the debit card. With the debit card, it's like, swipe it. Yeah, swipe it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, wait.
I think I got something in here.
Yeah. And that's a problem. I think that has made a huge issue for us.
And what's that meme when it's just like, this lady says something about, oh, your card's not working. Like, bitch, why you gotta be so low?
Right. You talking too loud.
You're talking too low.
So I wanted to kind of like get your opinion on establishing credit. And also, like, I mean, is you know, and understanding whether or not there are ways outside of credit cards that establishing credit can be done. And because I think that, I mean, I think that like every conversation we probably have during this episode is going to come back to the fact that like we are not fully educated on how to manage money.
Yeah.
Which we should be. But like as soon as you turn 18, you get hit with Capital One.
I was 17 years
like,
old
listen.
and like 10 months and Discover hit my inbox.
Right. Like
Or hit my mailbox like, here's
no
this credit
time.
card, $1,000 limit. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
$3,000? Bet.
I mean,
My
and the
first
thing
credit
is-
card was $300, and I made $7.15 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Like,
So
I
I'm
had
just
no
curious,
business.
like,
No
okay,
business.
we know good credit in this society is something that like you need, right? For a lot of things.
Depends.
Well, I mean, okay, what does it depend on?
yeah, talk about that because I have seen
Because I feel like you need good credit for basically anything.
I've seen people, and I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Dave Ramsey. It was like, you don't need credit. You don't need credit. And just like, how do you?
If you got the cash, right? If you got the
How
cash
do you
money,
buy
you don't need a
But I'm not buying. How am I going to buy a house with cash?
You know how many bids I lost out on because people were paying cash?
Yeah,
I was
people.
like,
Well,
people
them
buy.
people is crazy.
let me get my shit
Yeah,
together.
if you can, I mean, but here's the thing: you can't look at buying a house in a traditional sense. So, what about houses that have been repossessed, houses that are at auction, like a house that's $100,000?
Those are scary.
You can find really good deals that way.
They have
It's scary
infestations.
because it's unknown.
She's like, remember when you jumped in
That's
that
it.
pool?
Yeah, it's scary because it's unknown. But here's the thing: that's how people come up. I'm just gonna be honest. So
true.
that's
True.
it. And being scared is what keeps us from getting to the places where we're like, why he got?
Right.
Because he took the scary and he was like, all right, cool.
Apply that to
It might-
all areas of life, though.
Absolutely.
Right? It holds you back from a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
True.
So credit is something you only need if you need somebody to get something. Right?
Oh.
Damn.
So
Ew, I don't like to think of it like that.
Yeah, credit's it's
Ew,
for a
if
middleman.
that is like such a brilliant way of putting what credit actually
Can we just say that one more time, please?
Right.
Let me take this sip real quick.
Right. I'm like,
That
I
made
need to
my
take a
skin
note.
crawl.
I need to take a note.
credit is something you only need if you need something from somebody else.
Ew. Yeah. That is
And I'm a
And I know,
strong, independent woman that don't need nothing from
all
nobody
this
else.
independence that I'm feeling, I know that does not sit well, but
It does-
yeah,
it
it
really
really
doesn't.
is. If you think about it, you only need good credit to explain to other people who have what you need to say, hey, I can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
When if it was just you, you'd be like, hey, I got the cash. I'm going to go pick this house up real quick. I'm going to grab this car real quick and flip this, and I don't really need you. Right? So Dave Ramsey has said that before. Yeah, if you have the cash money to do what you need.
Way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So,
Thank you.
but if we are talking about credit,
Yes.
And we are peoples that need credit. How do
yeah, I
you
mean,
do that?
like, you know,
right now.
right.
Yeah.
If you're trying to, okay, so are credit cards the only way to establish and or like improve your credit?
No. No. So, and I have to say this as a disclaimer, I do not do credit. Okay. So if somebody comes to me for credit, I'm going to give you the little bit of knowledge that I have, and I'm going to refer you to somebody that I am extremely confident in that they can help you with your credit situation. But credit, there's some major things that they want to see. A home loan is huge, a car loan, something like that. Yes, a credit card. But the biggest thing is, you can get like utility bills and stuff put on your credit to help establish your credit history. But it's your payments. You need to have things on there, and you need to consistently pay, because that hits your credit the most and the hardest and lasts the longest.
Yeah.
Right. So
Collections is not something you
you don't want your
credit
collections,
report.
but here's the thing. If you get a collection, it's not the end of the world. You have your first 2 years of that collection hitting, where the points that you got dinged for, you can get those back if you pay that off within that first little bit of time, right? So like, get it together, figure it out. You can obviously call them and negotiate a payoff. That's, you're going to get some of those points back, maybe not as many, but it doesn't matter, right? That's going to stay on your credit for some time. But just because you have collections, it's the outstanding collections, really. That's the biggest thing. So you want to make sure that you're paying that stuff off, and don't just leave it hanging there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
But and I have to do a plug for your rewards credit cards. Like, do your research on your credit cards and get a rewards credit card, because there's so many benefits, like free hotels and flights and points and all of these things. Like, I'm in that game right now, and I'm telling you, like, that's so great. It's so great.
okay,
is great.
So can we talk about
only if you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And you're
That's
able
what I'm
to
saying.
pay them
Exactly.
off.
And there are a lot of like, so I need to fix my credit. So I haven't necessarily started yet, but I have been looking into things. My friend made me join this Facebook group, and there's a lot of like knowledgeable people on there that are like, your statement date, you have to pay it on this date. Like, there's ways to finick it.
Yeah.
To like
It's a game.
really build your credit up.
Credit is a
quick.
game. It's a
Yeah.
game.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
there are a lot of like tips and tricks and things like that, and there's a lot of
Double
little
payments.
little money games
Yeah.
and things that you really can take advantage of, and credit is not as hard to navigate as people make it seem. Again, it's one of those unknown situations.
Exactly.
You don't know. Like I said, I got my first credit card before my 18th birthday, and it was like, hey, who talked to me about a credit card? I
Right.
had no idea.
I graduated college and got a credit card to Macy's and went and bought a fucking Coach purse. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I
That's
manage money.
smart. That was smart.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
but
'cause
again, it's like who said not to?
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'll
I
tell
don't
you
wanna
right
talk
now,
about myself
I
credit
don't
cards.
remember ever having a conversation about money
No.
with my parents.
Me neither.
My parents definitely
Ever.
not. My mom was really bad with money. My grandma, however, is very frugal. Was always like, April, if you start a savings account, I'll double it. But I was a child. I didn't fucking understand. I wasn't taught that.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you better do this shit.
My grandmas were the same way, so I feel like it was that generation, like
I was
when
gonna
they
say
saw
that.
and grew up
Wasn't that- yeah,
around.
the
It was
depression.
like
Depression.
they had,
Yeah.
they had to. Like my grandma used my mom and then her siblings would talk
Yeah.
about like how my grandma could like make dinner out of basically nothing. And I'm
Yes.
like, that ain't cute. like,
But
right. Like,
they got retirement and they living nice
Yes.
now, though.
Right. And but here's the thing. My grandmother, who I never, as long as I had lived before she passed, neither one of my grandmothers, I ever saw them work or have a job.
Nope.
Ever. Like, ever. But they were always the ones that people would go ask money to. Be like, grandma, can I hold something? My grandma gave me a loan. I was in college, and she was like,
Right.
literally, my grandma's like 5 foot, like this teeny tiny lady. She's giving me like $1,200 for, I don't even remember what I needed it for. And she's like, this is your payment schedule. Like, she's like a freaking.
This is your
like,
payment
that's how my
grandma is.
grandma's like, listen,
That's
I'm
how my
giving you
grandma
this
is.
money because I know you need it, but what you're gonna do is pay me back.
Right.
That's how my grandma is. If it wasn't for my grandma, I'd probably be homeless. To be honest, like my grandma has helped me so much, but she's like, "Look, this is how much you owe me." Okay, and she's like 85. I'm like, "Grandma, you still want me to pay you?"
Oh no. April's
all
like,
my
let me just wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I
that's the
love my
thing. Like,
grandma.
you think about, okay, so we're talking about our grandparents. Something disconnected there. Why was that not passed down to our
It
parents and
wasn't
then passed
at
down
all.
to us,
Yeah.
right?
It,
so
like,
like
totally skipped.
something
Well,
happened.
you know, we are trying to stunt for the gram.
We are.
We are.
But our parents, even my parents, are terrible with money. It skipped
My
it.
parents are terrible with money too.
It completely.
Oh, you're
skipped.
saying it skipped our parents'
Yes.
generation.
Yes. Like, it didn't get
Okay.
passed down to them, and then they couldn't pass it down
Yeah.
to us. My
Yeah.
parents weren't horrible with money, but they
Yeah.
were serious consumers. Like, both my parents loved to shop.
Yeah.
Like, my mom, literally, she still does. Like,
My
she
mom
buys
too.
so much. And I'm
Yes.
like, I'm a shopper. I like gifts. That's my love language, right?
Yeah.
I give gifts and receive them as a love language. And my mom does, my dad does, my brother. We're all the
Yep.
same love.
Yeah.
How do you have a whole family of gift givers,
gifts.
right? And like,
Lord have mercy.
like,
That's an expensive family.
yeah, and it's like, if I didn't get into finance, I wouldn't be the way that I am. But like, my brother and my mom, still to this day, like, they buy all this crazy stuff. Like, my brother, like, when he first started his real job, his career, he's like getting those boxes of clothes into his house. I'm like, he's like, yeah, these jeans are really nice. I'm like, they're like $200. They're supposed to be. They should talk to you. Like, what? What are you talking about?
That's kind of how I am and how my mom was. Like, my mom, they weren't rich, but like, me and my brother had everything we ever needed and wanted.
Yeah.
My kids, like, I'm a single mom. I don't got it like that, but like, my kids have no idea. They have
Man.
everything they want, everything they need. Like,
Yeah.
they have no idea that I don't really got it like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy because, like, I mean, I would only get like one pair of shoes per school year, and it would come from Kmart. However, my mom also, she made me get a job. When I got a job, half my paycheck had to go into savings. Had to. I had the other half to do what I want. Somehow, I have credit dating back to the year I was born because
geez.
I don't know what she did, but she made that happen. So, like, I mean,
She said,
yeah, I
"I'm
was
gonna just
like,
take
back
this social
then, I was
security
like,
number
I don't
real quick.
understand all this.
Right.
But now I'm like, dang.
But you want to just borrow this? I'm gonna just
Thank
borrow
They're
you.
like,
this.
Yeah.
Miss
That's
Emily,
crazy.
your longest credit
looking
line's
at my credit
60
like,
years.
How?
You were like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So
that work?
parents can actually put their kids on their credit cards as, you know,
Authorized.
yeah, as
users.
authorized users. And so
And that
that's
impacts their credit?
Yeah. My mom
That's
put me on one of hers
insane
to try
to
to
me.
help.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause
it's
that could
scary.
go
It's
bad
scary if it goes
quick.
bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, obviously, if you're going to do that your parents doing that for you is a whole different thing. But somebody, like you said, you know, as you're older and you want to do that and try to help your credit, you can do that. You want to make sure that the person has a good track record, obviously.
right.
And they can take care of it. But, you know, and you don't have to give an authorized user a credit card or the card to that account.
Yeah.
They can just be on the account. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a risk for the other person.
How does it impact the person whose name it's in? It doesn't negatively impact
Yeah,
me
not at
to
all.
put April on as
Nope.
don't get no ideas.
Girl,
Yeah. No.
Lila's like, cosigner where?
it's not even a cosigner. They're literally just put your name on it, and however the credit
No,
card
I
is
know.
used, it affects you just like
It
the
just
person
looks
who has
like
the
a line
credit
of credit for that person.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what's really funny is just like I have some friends that are their kids are graduating or about to graduate, and these are some of the things that they were doing for them. And in my head, I'm like, okay, because these girls are very mature for their age, like, and you know, she's in my friend's like, you know, she's going to go to college. I'm gonna, yikes. She's like, I'm gonna probably give her like a $200 limit. That way, if she needs something, like she can just swipe it or whatever. But I never really thought about like putting an authorized user in there and then not giving them the card.
That's what my mom did for me. I've never seen the card,
For
but she
some reason,
added me as authorized user.
I never thought about.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
my mom did give me a card, and in college, I like lost my debit card or something because, you know, partying or whatever. And, you know, it took like 2 weeks for them to mail you a new
Yeah,
card.
of course.
So I was hungry one day, and I bought this was back
hungry
when
one day.
there were
She call you like, hey.
Listen, I bought a $5 footlong from Subway. A week later, she's like, "Where's my $5?" I'm like, "Dang, I'm fine."
See, I wish my mom would have been like that. My mom
Dang.
just
But But again, it's knowledge. It's what what did our parents know and what could they pass on to us.
I'll tell you, this is probably one of the only things I really wish I'm really envious of white people on.
Yeah.
What,
This
money?
is it.
Not me, shit.
The knowledge of money, being able to pass that knowledge on.
My grandma, but not my mama.
mom's father was an accountant, so it was very important to her, and she tried to teach me so many times, and I didn't. Like, whatever. I'm about to go play soccer.
Right. My grandma, exactly. I didn't care. My grandma still does taxes by hand. Did my taxes for me. Blah blah blah. Tried to teach me. My grandpa had stocks for me ready for when I graduated college or high school to buy a laptop.
See, that's that white people shit.
Exactly.
I was too stupid.
Exactly.
I didn't give a fuck.
I'm blood. Like
That whole quote unquote that generational wealth that we're chasing after. Like, these
real.
motherfuckers is.
But that's perfect because
it's happening.
have like somebody handing you stocks and be like, hey, this is what I have for you. Like that doesn't happen for the majority.
No,
not at all.
No.
Yeah.
But also adults, like older adults, need to understand the reason why a lot of that stuff didn't like transcend is because like technology happened and like digitization happened. Like you're not about to convince me I'm gonna sit here and do my taxes on paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that shit is not gonna register. Like
Right.
I live on a smart. No, but I'm saying, but like it's not gonna register for you.
Right.
Like you live on a smartphone. Like you're not about to do your
No, grandma, I don't need to do. I got TurboTax now. Okay.
right.
Facts.
So that's why I mean, it's like there was so much change.
Yeah.
Between like our grandparents.
Yeah.
And us. Like the
absolutely.
world is like completely different. So
Absolutely.
to think that we were in a place to like receive and like
Right.
process information and like how to like be in the world, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like the world was changing at rapid speed. Like
Yeah.
But bringing it back to this, the fundamentals of finance didn't change.
no, you're right.
But the distractions.
The distractions changed.
A lot did change.
Crutches
The-
or
Back then, they didn't care what kind of shoes nobody wore. They didn't care what kind of fucking shirts. They didn't care what if you had the newest.
I think they did. I
there
think
was
they did
no
because they're
Instagram
still
to take my
to
picture
show
and
it
put on their
off,
story.
right?
No, you
I have shoes that I've literally only put on
Yeah,
for the
but-
fucking gram.
but
Like,
you was
No,
stunting
if
at the
that-
skating rink.
If that were true, if that were true and
you
it's
just
like
I don't remember what I wore.
simplest form, then we wouldn't have people who still understand it.
Right.
So we have to take that and say, yeah, that's definitely an added distraction. That's definitely something else for us to focus on. But the fact of the matter still remains that there are people out here on Instagram and doing whatever else, and they still know this stuff. They still know the information. They're still doing it, right? And honestly, social media has become an additional way to earn money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
true.
So some of the people that we follow,
we trying.
some of the people that we follow them, and they're making money as we speak because
Absolutely.
of that.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So there's so many ways to monetize pretty much everything nowadays.
I'm trying to figure it out.
She just sent us a link the other day. This lady.
Yesterday, Brittany sent us a clip of this like mukbang chick on YouTube that does like eating videos.
She eats
just
crab
eat-
legs.
she
and
eats,
stuff,
like, a
and
bunch
just
of
makes a bunch
seafood.
of
It's just like huge, like oversized seafood platters and different food. Like just anything oversized, she eats it, but she like eats it for the like video.
The
Like
sound,
YouTube.
it's like the
ASMR.
Whatever the hell that
Super
is.
popular.
For the sound.
Like the way
She's a multi-millionaire.
You guys should do these.
No.
Y'all want to hear us slurp?
And then pour the wine. Like that might be it. That might be a thing.
It might be it.
Listen, we need to figure it out.
We do.
But let's
ASMR is like things that you like to hear.
The
like,
sound. It's just the sound of
like,
the
makes
action.
It's like
you
an
to sleep,
audio-
makes you feel a
Yeah.
type of way.
Yeah.
audio
It's a
stimulation kind
stimulation.
of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Weird, bro.
People are weird.
You are weird
So
as
weird.
fuck.
People are weird.
Kind of a fetishy thing.
Yeah, it is.
like a fet. Yeah.
But
So-
I remember reading through the comments and it's just and people were just like, yeah, when I was pregnant, I really like to listen to people eating chips. What the fuck are you talking about? Or
I
like
mean,
trying
sometimes
to
that
when she wants to go
sounds
to
like-
sleep or something, like just
What does eating chips sound like sometimes?
It
That's
just depends
weird.
on who's
Right.
eating it. It
Depends on
it
who's
sounds
eating it.
nice sometimes.
you know
Like
how like
sex?
you're trying to go to sleep.
No.
Oh.
It's not sexualized.
I don't think it's sexualized. She just liked to hear it was soothing to her. Just like when people are like, I like to listen to rain or I like to listen to ocean sounds and go to sleep. That's essentially what it is.
Why does crunching on chips do something for you?
Girl, I don't know. Ask her.
We have a clinical psychologist.
Right.
The way the way she breaks up on her crab legs and like dips it in butter and just like
You hear all of it,
Yeah.
and she's a multimillionaire.
Yeah, they're very popular. I mean, most people have your reaction. They're like, "What the
fat?
like what?"
At this point, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like I said, there's a way to monetize everything. There's an audience for whatever it is that you want to do.
That's true.
And if you put it on YouTube, I mean, YouTube will pay you.
Right. Right.
We trying, girl.
So can we talk about how to be a shopaholic, but also be financially healthy? And or how to stunt for the gram and be financially healthy. So basically you're saying I need to work that into my budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
I feel like I have, but I haven't gotten to the goals, the other financial goals that I really like that I would also like to achieve.
Okay, so income is a big thing. You have to examine your income and then decide with my income, what am I able to do? And if that doesn't reach all of the things that you want to do, then you have to decide, okay, how can I make more money? Now, some things you can allow them to pay for themselves, right? So there are a lot of people who
showed me
who stop for the gram, right? Showing things that they have or whatever. Some people buy this stuff, put it on their Instagram and sell it as soon as they do it, right?
I guess I'm not as interested in stunting for the gram.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
Well, but here's the thing. You have to there's strategy to it. So so you get sponsorships once you're so big. So you need to get so big. And how you get so big is the strategy part, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those, like, in the first couple of years of business, either strives or it fails, right? So you're feeling like you fail your first several years of business, but the issue is you've got to get it out of the mud.
Yeah.
Right? So if you got to sell it until you get to the point where they're like, hey, so we saw you had our bag on your Instagram and you got 25,000 followers. We want to send you this other bag so you can get people and you can link it. You know, we're going to give you this 10% off code and we need you to drive traffic to our site. Okay, now the bag is yours and you didn't pay for it. Right? But in the beginning, you had to sacrifice. So that's just one way that you can make that happen, right? It is a lot. But here's the thing. When you get there, you're there.
Right.
So, but you have to decide the
25,000 followers. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's the hurdle I got to
Everybody
jump
that
over.
wants to be an Instagram baddie, listen up.
Okay, so if I don't want to stuff for the gram and I just want to be a
whatever the
shopaholic.
fuck it is.
I just want to be a shopaholic. I just want to like buy the shit I want to fucking buy.
At the end of the day,
also I want to also be able to like renovate a house and like buy a new house.
you have to find the money. You have to. That's it. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter. Well, let me say, it does matter how you find the money. I'm not advocating for anything illegal or immoral, right? But that's at the end of the day, you have to find the money for it. So if you're wanting to, if your thing is real estate, you want to flip houses, cool, right? Do that. If you are an Instagram person, you want that type of attention, then you have to build it up to have those followers so that you can get that attention and get sponsorships. So everything is a game. It's just the matter of where you want to play your game at.
Right.
Everything is a game.
Damn.
Because I'm trying to figure out how to live my best life and not get a sugar daddy.
That's an option.
But also sugar daddy. I was gonna say, isn't that also an option?
I mean,
that is the option.
There is a whole group, society, club, whatever, of women who do this. Like, I mean, there are. That's a thing. That's for them. That's not for me, but that's for them.
I was almost
they get
sugar
what
baby.
they want, right?
Yes, you were, Brittany.
But it wasn't.
They
It
do.
wasn't a positive experience.
Sometimes I seriously consider it. I'm like, I really do need to reevaluate my decisions. Like, do I get a sugar daddy or not?
People are willing. People are willing.
But this is the thing: is Brittany, you squandered that opportunity, in my opinion. No, you did. You did, bitch. Because you had one on the line, hook, line, and sinker. You had a sugar daddy, but you fucking squandered it.
You were close enough taking photos and shit. You should have been.
You got nothing out of it. You got a pair of eyelashes,
Right.
But can we talk about these feet though?
Listen, Brittany,
Look, hold on. Let's talk about feet because my feet are trash. Okay, my feet are trash. I got a high arch. Okay, Some dude on Instagram sent me $50 Cash App for a picture of my feet. Just my feet. Like, period. Just on Instagram. Not an OnlyFans, not nothing. Just picture. And my feet are trash. Like, she could be making money out here.
Did you send a picture of your feet?
Yes, for $50.
She said that Cash App came through.
Yes, it did.
It's only feet. Like, why wouldn't you send it?
My
like,
face, you could not see my face, nothing.
If people were asking for
sexy.
feet pics, I would absolutely be fucking making money off feet pics.
And then I had to block him because it got weird, but like, for that $50 shit.
Of course it gets
I would let it get weird. I'd be like, listen,
He was sending me
how
pictures
much do you want to pay me for it to get weird?
But then he started sending me pictures, and I was like, I don't want this.
I didn't ask for any of this. No.
Right, this is not a reciprocal.
No, not at all. I don't want to see that. I can't even pretend to like that.
If you're sending pictures, send the Cash App with the picture.
Exactly.
If you want me to view this?
Right.
Yeah.
It needs to come with the Cash App too.
Yeah. Oh, and OnlyFans even has like a Hulu show now, like a whole documentary.
I know, I saw that. I'm actually gonna watch
This
it.
lady was
really
like, "Oh, I posted a video of my butt and made $1,200 in one day." I'm like, "You don't say."
You know, it really, you know, that really. I'm like, you know, it's like if you're in a relationship, you know, and your partner is like, I would not feel comfortable if you did that. It's like, but at the same time, like, you could make so much money. It's like, who do you live for? You know what I mean? Do you live to be like...
I'm not
like you need a new
condoning
partner.
any type of actions that cause to break up families. I'm just going to say that.
It ain't a family.
It sounds like you need a new partner.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tricky.
If roles were reversed and your partner was
You talking to India? She'd be like, "Hell yeah, go ahead."
You better put that
That
out there.
face says get the money.
You better make you an OnlyFans, honey.
You better put everything on there.
I will be your number one subscriber.
Fuck a subscriber. I will be your
You don't
manager.
think-
I will be your photographer, your
Listen,
videographer.
let's get this
Angles, babe,
money.
angles.
Look,
Come on
Exactly.
now.
We gotta have
bit.
it popping.
Let's be
At
honest.
any point, to be completely honest. So, okay, I get it. Go get that money. Do you honestly feel like your ego would never be...
See, now we're back to that conversation we was having earlier. Like multiple
Why
people
would
in a
my ego-
relationship. And I'm like,
Why would my ego? Because
just
other
people
women are
watching.
paying attention to my sexy ass man.
Other women are paying
I got a
attention.
sexy ass man. What you
However,
want? Yes,
then
I hope other women.
that opens the door
It does.
for...
The door
the
is
man
always
to get-
open. The door
Yeah,
is
the
always
door's
always open.
that's true.
Okay, if your man is sexy, the door is always open.
Yep.
He can go fuck whoever he wants to fuck.
a choice.
It has nothing to do with whether or not he's on. Now, does that exponentially increase the number of people he
attention.
has
Yeah.
access to?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if you are a self-conscious ass, weak ass person, then yeah, that's probably not your jam. That's probably not your jam.
I dated a sugar baby. I was fine with it.
Well,
No, but I'm saying somebody who is out on the scene, like somebody who has just like constant DMs, constant like whatever. At the end of the day, if you want to act on any of that, that is your fucking
Sure,
prerogative. And I can't fucking stop you from doing that.
No.
Right.
I just have to have the trust in you that you won't.
you won't.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if I'm not providing for you what the fuck you are looking for in a relationship, then you are gonna look for it in somebody else. That has nothing to do with you being on OnlyFans.
so what do you think, if that's the perspective, which I totally understand, because a relationship is the decision, right? Like you gonna have an option every single day. You have to, well, not have to, but I'm hoping that you choose me every day. But one day you might not. What is it then if you're so like, all right, go get that money, and he's not? Then is it maybe a
Wait, like I'm forcing him into it?
No, but he's
Well, now
not.
we're talking about
that's
sex
not
trafficking.
Reciprocating you having an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, then that's a problem.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. You're saying that you want to go on and swing your little dang-a-lang and like and rub one out for the ladies or men for shmoney's. But you have a problem with me doing it, then I don't deal with double standards well. So long as it's not a double standard, like I'm cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely have to be confident in yourself in the relationship for you to be okay with that.
I mean, you have to have whatever your boundaries are. Again, that's an individual situation. So it's like, okay, if we're doing this, then we are doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are doing this.
I didn't feel threatened by the fact that he was a sugar baby.
What are you talking about? Brittany, you talking about you had a sugar baby?
He was a sugar baby.
You dated somebody who was a sugar baby, but not
I did
your
not have
sugar
a sugar
baby.
baby. I had a sugar baby.
I didn't pay for nothing.
I didn't pay for nothing.
Okay, so you dated somebody who was a sugar baby, but they were not your sugar baby.
Facts.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, so you knew he was, schmoozing some
And you just have to be
ladies.
comfortable with that and confident with it. Like,
and at the end of the day, he was able to take you on really nice vacations, correct?
He was.
Because of his sugar babiness.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Wow. So you benefited.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. So talking about like dating sugar babies and sugar daddies, I did want to talk about like finances and relationships.
Okay.
Yes.
I was curious, like, how often you see couples coming to you, or like what are the typical like couples and money issues you see?
Load it up.
So yeah, I mean, finances affect relationships. Actually, money is your number one reason for divorce. Stress, all of that stuff. It all kind of wraps up together, right? So the biggest thing is you have to, it's a conversation that we should be having when we're asking all of the other questions. What type of spender are you? Are you saver, are you spender? Because some of those things really matter. Mm-hmm. If you have a totally different outlook about your finances, because there are situations where people are like, okay, well, when I get married, we should combine our finances. Well, maybe we shouldn't, right?
Maybe we don't.
Again, that's a conversation that those two people need to have, because some people want to combine finances. Other people feel comfortable not. There's people like, okay, if I'm going to marry you, I feel like if we have separate finances, like I feel separated, right? Yeah. So that is a valid feeling. Mm-hmm. But again, it's a situation and a conversation that you guys have to decide on together. So when you come to somebody to say, hey, we need to work out our finances, that's the first question. Yeah. Is, okay, how are we operating with our finances? Are we two separate bank accounts? Do we have two separate and then we have a combined? Like, what are we doing here? I've seen relationships where, people pay certain bills and one person pays these things and the other person pays these things, and then we keep our money separate, right? Mm-hmm. To me, that's kind of roommate-ish, but that's not my relationship. I can't, So again, I have to ask those questions in the beginning so I know kind of how to proceed. Because if we're looking at two separate finances, like we're looking at his debt and then her debt, and we're looking at, what she wants to save and then what he wants to save, and then maybe they have a money goal together that we need to work on. And if we have two different incomes, are we contributing dollar amount or are we contributing percentage? Like percentage, right? So like,
it's gotta be the percentage, right? For me.
Mm-hmm. Right? So, and it just depends, right? Yeah. So, and then another thing to consider too is that guys really have a hang up when women make more money than them, right?
Listen, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
We can talk about that.
And again, that's an individual situation. Not all men are that way, but some men are. Some men are like, hey, if she makes more money than me, bet. Like, I don't care. But other guys really, they can say it on the surface like, oh, I don't care, but it really does something to them, and that can affect how financial decisions are made. Arguments can spring up where arguments don't exist, right? Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's like, why are we fighting about the light bill? And really, it's because he's mad because you make $50,000 more a year than him, like, right? It's on. So, what is there to be mad about? Exactly. So those conversations have to be had, and they need to be had with all of the other. Do you want kids? Like all of those conversations, because honestly, like you have to be honest, because it's gonna bite you in the butt if you don't in the end. Like it just is.
I'm curious as to your guys' opinion, like how early or late or when in the relationship, like, do you start to talk about money?
I mean, for me, like if we're having conversations like about family, like kids and marriage and like that kind of stuff, okay, then now I need to talk about that.
Or with that person?
With that person. Yeah,
with that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So because I'm in finance, like I take clues. Like like you would clues anything else. Like, like you're over at his house for the first time and you kind of look around and what are you looking for? Like, what do you see that you're like, okay, does he pick up his clothes? Like, or does he have like, is he dirty? Does he have dirty dishes, laying around all the time? I have a friend who just recently went on a date with a guy. He brought her back to her house. He knew that she was coming. Like, this was predetermined. She was coming back there, and he had like stuff everywhere. And I'm like, okay, was it like dirty? Like I, ran in and out. Like he was busy, or was it like dirty? Like this is like weeks.
Filthy.
And she was like, oh no, it was nasty. And I'm like, okay, nasty
You're
is
friends with her or friends with him?
I'm friends with her.
Okay.
I'm like, girl.
Yeah, dang,
I'm like, listen.
No, I was just about to be like, why didn't you tell your friend? Like, clean the fuck up.
Right, yeah. No, so I said, okay. I said, here's the thing, like, nasty is nasty, and I can't excuse that. But, like, he knew you were coming. Yeah. So, like, he doesn't even know nasty is unacceptable. Like, that's a whole nother level of nasty to me. Like, oh, I'm going to have this girl over, and I got shit everywhere.
I feel like that's why some dudes just don't invite you over.
Right, but it was his idea. It was his idea.
Yeah,
like he put it out there.
Preemptively, should have.
And I was like, oh, it's over. I'm like, it's over for you. I'm making this decision. Like, hell no.
How old was he? No, I'm just kidding.
Old enough to know better.
Right.
And the thing is, it's just like, if you know that you're about to bring somebody over, it's not even that. It's just like, you didn't care enough to even clean
something.
Yeah, bro, that's just their life.
And again, and that's to me, I don't even take it there. I don't take it like you didn't care. I take it like you didn't know any better, which is disgusting.
That's your lifestyle.
Like exactly. Like no one taught you that this shit is not okay. Like that plate right there has like not just food on it, but like the food is there. Like it's stuck. It's and I feel like shit like that
shouldn't need to be taught though. Like my house wasn't the cleanest growing up, but like I know not to invite people over if my house looks a mess. Like,
but somebody had to talk to you or something.
Like you did. It's like so wait. So what did she do?
Well,
she kept talking to him, didn't she?
No.
They probably engaged.
That's dead. That's dead. She was not. She did better than me. She was nice enough to stay for like I think 30 minutes. I would have been like, hey, because he's like, hey, like you can sit right here, and she's like,
he's like moving stuff.
No.
And she's like standing there, and she's looking like,
I'm gonna stand right here.
Yeah, like no.
Okay.
I was like, well, see, me, I'd have been like, you wasn't ready. And I would leave. Like,
see, me, I would have started cleaning. That's just how I am. Like,
oh my God.
No. Because now you're gonna raise a whole man.
You are about to raise a whole man. I can't.
And that's gonna be an uphill battle. So, but that's what I'm saying. That's a clue, right? So that's a clue to how his lifestyle is. You have to do the same thing with finance. Like, what is he like? Like, when you get in his car, check and see how much gas he has in it.
If he riding on E all
don't do
the time.
Don't do that, because I'll get judged real fucking quick. I'm like,
I'm just saying.
See how long this
especially
really
in the
is.
winter. I am not trying to pump no gas in the winter.
Wait until the last.
Well, in the winter it's a little different, but just little things like that, like.
It's his surface oil
going back to like women making more than men. Like, do you genuinely think that there are men who literally don't care, or that they like just say that they don't care, but deep down they actually do care?
So I don't operate in extremes, so like always and nevers. So yes, I believe that there are men who don't care, who genuinely are like, no, I'm in this relationship because I care about her and I want to be with her. That doesn't bother me. But again, I think there has to be conversation, because anytime a person makes more money, there's that potential to have that ego and that like pull rank card. Yeah. I don't care who you are. Like if you're in a relationship and you're like, oh, I make, $250,000 a year and my man makes 100, like, okay, I'm up on you. And if I feel at any point in time to pull that card on him, that shit's not okay. Because any man is not going to be okay with that, right? Absolutely. So he might be okay with the money differential, but he's not going to be okay with you throwing it in his face all the time.
No, and nor should you.
Yeah.
Because, you knowingly made a decision to be with somebody at that income level. So to throw it in their face down the line is kind of fucked up. But the situation you threw out there, that's a little, that's high. 250 and 100. God damn! Like,
I wish I had that problem.
We need to talk about some more realistic numbers. Like, we need to talk about like 140. Right? Like that.
50?
the numbers don't really matter. Again, it's just a matter. I mean, because honestly,
just have an attitude about it.
Because if you look at biology and you look at society and just, I believe the way that men are wired, they're wired to provide and to protect. That's just the way they are. And so when that becomes a situation where they're being questioned or they feel like they're being questioned, it could be $2. Right. It doesn't matter to them. If they feel like this whole me providing is being called into question, they're going to have problems with that. So the numbers don't really matter much.
Yeah. Okay.
I also think it's just like, now you're questioning like the value and worth of me in this relationship. And it could correlate to that $2, but like,
yeah, I mean, that's men. I mean, that's really the majority. I can't, like I said, I don't like to operate in absolutes, but the majority of men, that's where they express their value. Like, if I'm not adding something to your life in the way of providing or protecting you, then what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, which is like a valid question to ask. Like, what are you actually fucking doing here if you are not adding something to the situation?
We should ask it more.
Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, that is something, that is a question that everybody should be asking themselves, men and women. Like, you can't be a woman up in a relationship talking about, and you can't articulate what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. And again, that's going to be an individual conversation, because what do you want out of the relationship? What do you bring? Is that what he needs? Is that what he's looking for? Like, okay, I can cook and I can clean. Well, maybe he can do that shit himself.
Right.
He should be able to, at this point in our life.
Maybe maybe he's got somebody that he pays to come and do that. Like, he doesn't need you for that, right?
Exactly.
So you have to find out, like, what I contribute, is that what this person needs? Because if you don't have those conversations, you'll be doing some things that he's like, well, I don't even need that. Like,
right.
That don't help me.
Compatibility.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Because mine's like another question.
Like, I feel like I've heard that from a lot of men that are providers or whatever. And like, because you see a lot on the internet, whatever, of women who will not talk to a guy because he doesn't make X amount of dollars, or it's strictly financial, but she doesn't have her shit together. She's not able to pay her bills. She does, like, whatever. And so, like, I've heard, like, a lot of men say, like, how is it so that you want me to be able to provide this, and that, but you don't bring anything to the table? And I think that's why it's very important to have conversations, especially with women, about how to be financially stable and financially responsible for your damn self. Mm-hmm. Because with that, like,
I mean,
you can cultivate a genuine relationship.
And I mean, we live in the world where there are women and men who, quite frankly, don't want to worry about that. Like, they don't want to do it. They don't want to be financially stable. They want somebody else to take care of them. Mm-hmm. And again, just being who you are and knowing that, cool. Find the woman who is okay doing that. Yeah. Cool, because they're out there.
Yeah.
They're genuinely out there, like, cool, okay, and this is what I need from you. And if you're fine with that, hey, you like it, I love it.
You have to provide what that person is looking for. And quite honestly, like, pussy is not going to be it. Like, that's not going to be the end of the story, because
there's a lot of it out there.
Because what you honestly mean to tell me that your individual pussy is going to convince me to take care of you, and not get pussy from all of these other pussies
who have pussy plus more.
Right. Well, not even plus more. I just mean, like, pussy cannot be the only thing that you put on the table. Like, because at the end of the day, like, if I make enough money to get your pussy, I probably make enough money to get these other ones.
And it becomes value. What's valuable to you? So if you're looking for that, you're like, okay, cool. Yours is cool, but so is hers probably.
Right.
She good over here too, and she's a little cuter.
Exactly.
Than you. So yeah, absolutely. So if you're gonna be out there and this is going to be what you bring to the table, just know there are other people who bring the same thing to the table. You have rank, right? You have rank on that. Like, okay, so I bring this, and this. Well, the other girl, she brings those things and one other thing. So you have to just, you got to see how it shakes out.
You got to
make yourself better, or be cool with, probably sharing.
Right.
Lord have mercy.
So I want to talk about maybe two more things, but I wasn't sure if investing is like your jam.
Yeah.
Investing is your jam?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about investing.
Yes, come to me if you want to invest.
Okay, go.
Okay, the plug. Okay.
If you're looking for investment advice.
We will tag her Instagram.
Yes. Okay.
Hit her in the DMs.
So, let's talk about investing. What if you don't know shit about investing?
Did you guys see that meme? It was like, it's over for y'all bitches when I learn what a stock is.
Yeah, right. So funny.
So if we want to reference the whole games, I'm sure you followed the GameStop fiasco a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not fully I don't fully comprehend exactly what happened with that, but I understand there was a bunch of people on Reddit that was like, hey, let's short the stock. I think that's maybe what it's referred to as.
Yeah.
They basically bumped up the value of a stock that wasn't valuable, isn't valuable. And that's, I don't even know why I brought GameStop up. I mean, I guess because it's in recent news, but I mean, I don't know. What do you do if you're just somebody who's I want to make my money work for me, right? I don't necessarily want to work until I'm 87 years old and fucking croak and die in an office.
Right. They're probably not going to let you work that long, just saying.
Yeah, you'll be senile by that time. But okay, so how do I make my money work for me? If I don't have any fucking knowledge of stocks or any of that shit, I probably, if I didn't work for a financial institution, I probably would have been caught up in the GameStop thing. But I was okay, this is probably against my company policy.
So the thing about the situation with GameStop, so the stock market is kind of it's kind of like Hollywood and the paparazzi and whatever. It's like Trey Songz. Right? He had a single drop and he's like, hey, how do we get this to everybody? How do we get people checking me, hashtagging me, all this, right? That's essentially what they did with GameStop. Was okay, we're going to hype this up. We're going to get into this. We're going to hype it up so that it looks like it's more than what it is. And then we can get out, right? So we play the advantage. So essentially that's the same thing. But if you have no idea what you're doing, the first thing that I can say is go to your HR and get into your retirement plan. Find out what exactly that has going on, because you probably have money that you're missing because your company probably offers you a match, right? So you want to go talk to them. You want to make sure you're putting money into retirement, because here's the thing, you can't work forever.
Right.
And chances are your body's going to quit working before you actually die, and your company's probably going to get you out of there before your body actually stops. So you're not the one in control in that situation. So you need to do something proactively, and that's going to be to get into and understand your retirement plan. So that's the very first step. Stocks are not the first step, right? Okay. People come to me all the time and I want to invest in something. I want to invest in stocks. Stocks are very risky. They're not what you just get into. I like to tell my clients that stocks are the equivalent of the penny slots in Vegas. If you want to lose money, you got it to lose. Hey, do what you do. Yeah. But if you're not secure, you don't have an emergency fund, you're not, secure with your retirement and investing that in a systematic way, you have no business purchasing random ass stocks like GameStop or whatever. And you definitely don't have that to do after it hits the news, because after it hits the news, it's over.
It's over.
You missed it, right? And the worst thing to do as an amateur is to try to read the stock market and try to all that's, you don't even want to do that, right?
Don't chase stocks.
So don't do that. You'll lose a lot of money. So if it's money that you just, have to burn and you got everything else set up, sure, go ahead, do what you do. But I wouldn't, for the average person that's just trying to understand, that's not where you start.
Okay. So start at your job.
Yes.
Now, what if you don't have a job that offers how we talked about earlier, there's that gap, right? Only certain jobs offer those type of benefits. And
so if you're an independent contractor, if you work part-time, if you're a business owner and that's solely what you do, you're self-employed, then you need to talk to a financial advisor, talk to somebody that can help you invest. Hit me in my DMs and
hit her in her DMs.
Set up your retirement plan. You, as a person who's self-employed, as a person who has a part-time job, all of that, you're the one that's responsible. You are your own HR. You have to care about your retirement because nobody else does.
Yeah.
So you've got to get that set up, and there's ways to do that outside of an employer.
Do you think people are thinking about retirement as like as they should be thinking about retirement. I think sometimes like
No.
especially with like the advent of the monetization of social media, it's like retirement just sounds so traditional. It just sounds so like corporate America to me.
And it just sounds like it's so far away. When in reality, it's not that far away.
Yeah, it's not, bitch. It's like 30
so you have
less than 30 years away.
You've got the idea that it's super far away, which is the traditional way of thinking about it. It's like, well, I'm only 20, I'm only 30. Oh wait, I'm 50. Like that's what happens. And so the sooner you start, the less you have to put towards it. Right? You have more time, and time, as long as it's working, if it's working on your side, then it benefits you. You don't have to put so much into it. But the closer you get to retirement, the more likely it is, first and foremost, that you're not going to have the money that you need, but you're going to have to do a lot more to catch up. And a lot of times that's going to put you in a position where you can't even do it. On the other side of that, as far as social media and all of that's concerned, I mean, we're focused on right now. It's, right. You want to put whatever on your social media. You want to look like you're living this life. You want vacations. You want all this. So the money you should be putting towards retirement is going towards other things. And so that can definitely be a problem. But the fact of the matter is no matter how traditional it sounds or how whatever it sounds, you can't work forever, and you're not cute forever. Like Instagram is only pushing you through because you're cute now and you show your ass. But when your ass is not cute anymore, like, what you gonna do? And the thing about, you can get however much lifted, tucked, whatever, but it's still chicks coming up. There's 12-year-olds right now that's jockeying for your spot. Like it's over within a minute. So if you put your stock in that, you really want to make money that way, that's fine, but you need to be investing because when it's not cute anymore, when you're not cute anymore, you need to have money.
Okay. So last, I mean, so I'm gonna open the floor, but otherwise I was just going to be like, the last topic I wanted to hit was just like, what do you look for when you're seeking a financial advisor? Like, what are some red flags? What are do they need certifications? What you got to put on stuff? But before I ask that, I just wanted to y'all have anything else? Because that was my closing.
I think we hit just about.
Yeah, when should because I feel like we talk about this, but a lot of people might think this might not pertain to me. I don't need this at this point in my life. Like, when is it a good time for somebody to seek out somebody to become financially intelligent, I guess?
Right.
Well, if you're just seeking to gain knowledge, I would say, as soon as possible. I mean, I have clients who have children who I work with.
Wow.
Right. So again, we were talking about, knowledge being passed down. So, kids need to see their parents setting retirement, setting life insurance, setting savings, setting all of these things. Right. So there's never a time where it's too early to gain the knowledge. Now, when you're talking about starting to implement strategy, you can talk about being 18. Whenever you start making money is the time for you to start. Like you said, your mom said it and was like, hey, we're putting this much in savings. When you start making money is the time that you need to start figuring out how money works, because, there's no instructions on the back of your paycheck. We sign it. We don't even sign it anymore. It gets direct deposited. We start swiping and we're like, oh, what happens to that money? My youngest client is 19 and she came to me. She's the daughter of one of my clients. And she said, I want to pay for the part of my college that's not on scholarship, but I started living by myself because and I'm like, go home.
Right. Go home, girl.
You're paying $500 in rent by yourself. Go home. And she's like, well, listen, if I wish I had somebody tell me to go to hell home.
Same.
If I didn't have a kid at 21, I'd have been home as long as possible.
And it's like, there's small sacrifices in the beginning that pay off so much more later. And it's like, no, you don't want to have student loans. That's good. It's a great idea. And I'm glad that you realize student loans are from the devil, right? I can speak to that. Yeah. But you have to be in class. You can't work forever. There's only so many hours in a day. And quite honestly, there's only so many jobs you can get because you don't have a degree.
Right.
So, she works in sales, which is another good thing. People hate sales, but you make money. So figure it out, right? Work in sales. That's great. She makes a decent amount of money, but you're spending, about a third of your income on rent. go home. Like your mom, it's your mom. It's your mom. Like, and she's like, well, I was thinking about why she wants to buy a washer and dryer for her apartment. Go do your laundry at home. Go home. Right. So we had that conversation, and I told her, I'm like, this, you can do anything for a small amount of time. If you have the end goal in mind, you're like, okay, I do this for a year. I do this for 2 years or whatever. Put a time limit on it. Yeah. Because then you have sanity. You can hold on to like, okay, I only got this much time left. Yeah. Otherwise, if it's like this unending thing, you're like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna get on my nerves.
$500 a rent a month for a year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So, so it's just a matter of kind of strategizing and all of that. But it's never too early to learn it. Mm-hmm. And when you start getting into, getting a paycheck and things like that, that's when you need to start saving. Mm-hmm. You need to learn about investing, all of that, because if you start doing it then, it'll be so much easier when it starts to actually matter to you. It's like, instead of having to save like $1,500 for retirement, which is ridiculous, it's like, okay, I only need $250 because I've been saving all this time.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a huge difference.
And Lila, that was a good question, because like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need a financial planner because I don't make enough to be worried about. It's like,
that doesn't pertain to me because I'm
and that's what my thought process was, is that like, oh, I'll do that when I get like real money. It's just like,
well,
all money at this point is like real money because it's being earned. So you need to figure out how to not waste it all.
And that's like one of the things I talk about with the psychology of money is you have to respect your money. Mm-hmm. If you don't respect it, if you don't have the ability to say, okay, this is the money that I have at whatever level that is, it doesn't matter what you make, right? If you're just like, oh, it's not enough money. Well, who told you it's not enough money? Yeah. Because to somebody else, it's enough.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. So whatever you make right now, it's about taking that money and telling it what you need it to do.
Yeah.
And then that way, I always say, I need my money to make money babies. We need to, right? That's its sole purpose. It's not it's not its purpose to go pay bills and die.
Right.
It needs to make more money, because for me, like I like the idea that I don't have to work harder. I work smarter. Mm-hmm. I don't want to work more hours.
Right. Not at all.
I don't want to give up more time.
Not at all.
Right.
I have a 2-year-old son who, quite frankly, is the dopest human ever. and me and him laugh all day, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so anybody that needs my time, my energy, or my effort, I'm like, yo, it's going to cost you a lot, because my man over here, that's his time.
Yeah.
So if you want me to pull away from him to do whatever you're talking about over here, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how we have to reframe how we look at our time and the money that we do have.
And your self-worth.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like, because if you, in order to respect your time and your money, you have to respect yourself.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't feel like you're worth a certain, price tag or whatever, you are going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And it's really not that difficult to be taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, you could be in a job that's just like, okay, we'll pay you this much, and you could be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for that salary. But then, like, when you sit back and you really think about it, like, the fuck?
That's
like,
me.
Yeah.
I'm
doing too damn much for these fucking pennies.
And that's something that I encourage. Like, you should always evaluate that. Like, you should be consistently evaluating, where am I, what am I doing, and how much am I getting paid, and is this worth it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because people don't get paid what they deserve to get paid because they don't ask.
They don't get paid. Yeah. They
don't ask. They don't demand that. There's so many people that's like, your company would pay you more for what you do.
Negotiate.
Yeah. Like, they say, oh, this is a set salary. Is it?
Right. First of all, it's never a set salary.
Yeah, businesses are in the business of making money, so they are not going to voluntarily offer you more money. They're just not. Like, they might offer you like a percentage raise, a little 5%, a little 3%, a little 2.5%, just to keep you on the line, right? Yeah. Just to keep you, just to retain your skills. But at the end of the day, like, a business is not going to voluntarily offer you more money. So, and you have to know what your skill set is worth. You have to know what you bring to the table, and you have to be willing to negotiate. And this isn't off topic, but it's a related topic, but like negotiation skills and like understanding how to like go into those situations is like,
and learn how to make yourself more valuable too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. For sure.
Because the best time to ask for money is like when you're going through the job offer process, because after that, once you're there, it's usually like that 3 to 5%, and that's really not even. It's really just not inflation. That's really not them giving you very much money. It's just that a lot of that little 3%, right? And you're still getting
health insurance goes up.
Exactly, everything goes up with it. So it's not you're not suddenly going to get a bunch of money, but like if you don't ask for a decent amount up front, there's no I'm gonna make this up somewhere. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Right.
So you have to be able to ask for what you really want and need in the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap up with what you should look for in a financial advisor, financial planner, all in that industry. What are some red flags? Because we don't want, obviously, everybody listening to this is going to DM you. I mean,
it's me.
Let's
at Tasha Mack.
Yes.
TASHMACK.
Yes.
Thank you.
On Instagram.
But, we want them also to be just aware of the scallywags that are out here in these streets. So,
so there are a lot of things concerning money that are kind of like the hot things right now, right? So you want to make sure that the person that you're talking to has a license first and foremost, because not because all licensed people are better, but because they've had to go through a couple of things to be able to get to where they are, to be able to offer you advice, help you invest, things like that. But then the next thing is you want somebody that listens to you. I mean, you don't want somebody who's like, hey, this is what I think you need to do. And then you just kind of get strung along. You need somebody that hears you out, hears what your needs are, hears what your goals are. And not every advisor does that. Not every finance person does that. Sometimes people just have their kind of set ways and they have their own agendas and things like that. And really somebody that you don't have to, you need to like them. But you don't have to be best friends with them, right? But you need to like them. You need to be able to, be open and honest. It's kind of like somebody that you want to really be your friend. Yeah. Because you need to have tough conversations. You want to be able to open up to them and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. Because like we talked about, these are scary conversations that you need to be able to have with this person. And so if you don't feel comfortable with them, you're not going to want to talk to them.
Right.
Yeah. And so you need that. You need somebody that's going to walk with you through it too. Don't feel uncomfortable vetting people. I've had people, have conversations with me. I've done video conferences, so that they can talk to me, ask me questions. I can ask them questions. It's okay to talk to 3, 4, 5 people. This is your whole entire money future. Right. Yeah. It's important, right? You should be talking to several people and deciding where you feel comfortable, and that kind of thing. So don't feel afraid to do that.
Okay. And it's also okay, correct me if I'm wrong though, to ask them how they get paid.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to know how they get paid for sure. When you're investing, there are fees that go along with everything. There's a lot of legal stuff. There's, things that they're allowed to do, not allowed to do, depending on who they work with, what firm they work with, all that kind of stuff. How you're investing, what you're investing. There's a lot of stuff. So anytime somebody's investing with me, I'm going to explain the fees based on whatever we're doing, whatever the investment is. And that's super important because you need to know, like, okay, are they pushing me this way because they get paid more?
Yeah.
Right.
Or is this really what's actually good for me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Can
we cheers?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
That was very
She
said, I like sweet wine, but I'm gonna drink anything. Right. No, thank you so much. Honestly,
we
that was
appreciate
very
it so
informative.
much.
I would love to have you back and do a part 2, just in more detail, because I appreciate that there's just like a lot about it, and I also like am very intrigued by your sort of like dual approach to money, like money and psychology, because like you said, and we really didn't get into this, but like the emotions and like sort of like the mentality behind money is like you can't really untwine that. So like we got to have you on for a part 2 because we got to get into
I would love to.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Wine night.
Just had a drink.
Oh gosh, Brittany.
See you guys
All right.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.